Welcome to the Richard and James podcast.
Yeah, reselling podcast. Good to see you guys. Episode 3.
Good to see you. We just had a little technical hiccup. I'm not going to say the name of the person who did it.
It's Alex. It's Alex. If he wanted to swap around and work for Amazon,
definitely. But welcome to the podcast. We've got some great guests on. I hope you enjoyed the Lee Cola Flipper one. We really enjoyed doing it. I think Lee enjoyed doing it, and I hope you learned a lot. We've got good feedback from it, and it seems to have gone down pretty well. So hopefully this one will be equally as
informative. Yeah, definitely. And I think we'll be learning quite a fair bit. So if you have seen the title and the thumbnail, we have the amazing luxury pickers on the show today, which we're very, very grateful for. I know when we did the podcast with Lee that he spoke incredibly highly of them regarding authentication, about their knowledge. So it's going to be really interesting kind of asking them the questions and kind of finding out a bit more about them.
And I see Flat Eric's got dressed for the occasion.
Well, if you know the luxury pickers, you need to look on point. These guys dress to impress. So we've got to be on point with them. But I'd say if you're not subscribed, by the way, the links are in the description. Definitely check them out. Their content is just it's so informative, and it really makes
they're not already on 1,000.
Well, by the time this comes out, they've got to be on 1,000.
So
congratulations on 1,000 subscribers.
Congratulations on 1,000.
Yeah, and people be like, well, they're already on 1,000. People don't know when this is pre-recorded, but we know. We can see the future.
We know these things.
So they started what we know about is YouTube. We're going to ask them a bit more about their Instagram and what they've been doing before. But they started their YouTube channel in December the 29th, 2021. They've had up to date over 37,000 views on their videos. So these guys know what they're talking about. They are Somerset based, and it's Austin and Bethany, and they're just awesome at what they do at the end of the day. But without further ado, we'd like to bring them onto podcast episode 3. Here they come.
Yes, we would.
Here he comes. There we go.
How you doing, guys?
Good. How are you two?
Very well, thank you very much.
Good, thank you. After that little false start. Oh dear, that was funny. That's
very good.
Yeah. Do you just want to quickly introduce yourselves and
Cool.
your names, and obviously we've just said, but if you want to introduce yourselves and
So I'm Austin, who always talks first. That's why Bethany's looking angry at me now. Well, yeah, I'm at one half of the luxury pickers, and this is
Bethany, and I always get interrupted.
I don't know by who.
I've noticed a little bit of that on the. I've noticed that you both like to sort of try and talk at the same time.
I think you're being kind. It's me, and
it's
all me.
We're one entity.
Yeah.
That's the good thing. Yeah, my wife says I'm interrupting. I say, the same thing. We're just too connected. She doesn't believe me. She doesn't believe me, but it's worth a try.
I think some people we when we did the YouTube previously, which we'll talk about in a minute, we did loads of videos, and we would do kind of more informative videos, authentication, that kind of thing, and all the comments would be stop talking over each other, and we just didn't get it, because that's just conversing, like you just said. But there you go. If it sounds like that, I apologize, but it's probably just me.
I've got to say, for me, my favorite part is that about your videos, and it's the voiceovers that I love, because every time I watch your videos, and I mean this in the most polite way possible, but I'm going to give you guys a bit of banter now. I always think, if me and my wife, I wish we could do what you guys do, because it's almost like a mini form of marriage counselling, because 100%. You guys you'll have your bicker, you'll have your arguments,
and we know well, which, like, for a lot of people, I guess they will know, but they don't know. Because it's what you see on film is maybe sometimes not totally different, but it can be different. If you might have had a Barney in the morning, you might, you know what I mean? You're still going out picking, you're still not your job. That doesn't happen very often. What I'm saying is, you still got to be like, hi guys, you know what I mean? And that, like, you're laughing because you know that how it can be sometimes, and that's for anyone in a relationship, I guess. But it works ish.
But
It's-
I generally think it's if you guys had an off day, I think that would be part of that video that adds its charm.
Yeah, I guess.
And I think that's real. And
I
think
don't
that's
think we've
what.
had an on day. I don't know.
See?
Oh, that's blinding.
No, I definitely think I think you guys are on point. I think you just say it as it is, and I think the banter on the videos, the commentary, small things like, oh, nice angle there, Austin, of me. I don't see any angles of you. And then you went, and Austin's defending himself. I thought it was a brilliant liner, and he went, yeah, but I'm filming. I'm not going to film myself. I was like,
I was watching, trying to get some in earlier and watch some. But so I had I had the royal orders to go and chop the bushes out on the drive. So I was trying to watch, and there was one where you were sat out in the garden, and Bethany said, "Yeah, as you can see, we're sitting out in our overgrown garden. As you can see, we don't like gardening."
No.
Like,
I don't have a
it's
garden.
classic.
I have no idea. There are
It
things
was
which
classic.
grow. Sometimes you need to cut them down. Sometimes you keep them. That's pretty much my knowledge of
I'll
anything.
just- Yeah,
floral.
I've just let mine grow, and that's where I'm getting in trouble now. So now it's a harder job, but yeah, no. So I watched that this morning. That was a good one.
we went the other route. You've seen my garden, Richard. It's just like we've purposely just gone wood,
Yep.
stone, and then we've got like where Holly, my daughter, plays. It's all like tire, like ripped up tire stuff.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, like the rubber
safety
bar.
Yeah,
stuff.
and she just plays in that. It looks awesome in the garden. But when the
Yeah.
guy did the garden, he says, "Oh, do you want any plants? Do you want anything like?" And I went, "No."
No.
And
No.
my specific words were when we got it designed, I said, I want it to be a London garden. So no maintenance. I want it
Yep.
to look nice, but no maintenance. And
I'll
it's
have to do
perfect.
0 to it constantly.
Yeah, I don't do
Exactly,
anything.
yeah.
Yeah,
The best way.
nothing.
It's the way forward.
Yeah, the thing is, here things grow, and like, what are you gonna do? Leave them there for
Yeah.
a while until you have to cut them down, I guess.
They're just
That's
a
the thing.
feature. They become a feature.
There you go.
So we have got answer individually because you might have an individual answer. But so, they're just fun questions, and hopefully by the end of this podcast, the people listening will learn, and also they might even learn a bit more about, because I'm sure most people watching this, especially from the reseller community, it is very small. So a lot of people have probably already know you, have already watched your videos, but they might not know all about you, and hopefully we can get to know you a bit better as the luxury pickers as well. So we're going to rack your brains on some questions, but we also want to know a bit more about you because you're awesome. We think you're both amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
I'll let Richard start off with question one for you.
Let's go. So, where did you both meet?
Oh,
You can hit. I knew she was going to answer this one. There you go. See, in sync.
Austin was my boss. So Austin was my boss. At, we met at Mulberry, working for Mulberry, the handbag company, or whatever.
The luxury leather goods brand.
That luxury leather goods brand. He was my boss, and I wanted his job. And to be honest with you, if you watch our videos, you'll know that I can't stand for that. I'm either at the top or at the top. Like, I didn't know. So I didn't like him. I thought it was horrible.
To be fair, she was right.
Arrogant. I just honestly, I hated him. And
but nothing's changed. You just got used to it. Nothing's changed.
She still hates you, but it's just together now.
That was where we met.
Wow. What a place to start.
So he was your boss and you didn't like him.
Oh.
To be fair, not many people did.
It's gone well though since, obviously.
I think we just got stuck together now, and it's so comfortable. God. It's like, yeah.
So who's
our relationship, ladies and gentlemen? Our relationship.
That's cool.
We met originally at Mulberry. We were there a few years. We then kind of veered off a few different places, really. But that was kind of where we met.
That's where we met.
Wow,
that's cool. Awesome. That's a good answer. Of course, the luxury pickers are gonna meet in a luxury environment. Oh, that's awesome. Obviously. That's just like, it doesn't get any better than that. Now wait, I haven't got this as a question, but I did want to kind of pay my respects, because I'm sure but all of us are involved in something and a big competition in the reselling community. Something
I
that
was like,
people
what's he going to say now?
something that a lot of people, you know, sadly don't get access to, but all of us are part of this amazing thing, and that is the Master of Pieces Matchbox Racing Challenge. We have done it, and I have to say, and I have to say, out of all the entries I saw, guys, you nailed your entry. The fact
I take
that
full credit.
the
Full
way
credit.
it was packaged, the way you were packaged. Now, could you just explain to anyone who's watching this who hasn't seen Instagram, how did you package your cat and what did it arrive in? Because I think it's amazing.
So this is like how the collaborative effort works. So I just do a matte black because that's manly. Yeah, great, let's do that. Then Bethany said let's add detail, which is great. She kind of handed it. She's very artsy in that respect. I say artsy. That's such a downgrade. You have like a what degree in kind of
I have
fine
a
art.
fine art degree.
So I'm saying she's
wow.
artsy. Like she does just kind of she is very 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 good and didn't talk about it at all. So I do, but she did that. And then to answer your question in a long-winded way, you'll get used to that. Was the fact that we sent it in a Tiffany's kind of dust bag and box.
Oh wow.
Well, it's luxury. You got to give a little bit of luxury in you.
Come
See,
on.
now that makes me wish I'd sent it in as in this now.
There you go.
We could
There you
have.
go.
There's always next year. There's always next
Well, no,
year.
I use this as a dust cover for my microphone, so I didn't want to part with it.
Really good dust covers.
But but we'll step up. We'll step up
the game next time. That's it.
But we're definitely looking forward to seeing who's going to win that. And there's some very fierce competition. And
do you know what? Just as a side note, there's like last year, Gucci actually released. This is funny because you just held the Gucci dust bag up. Gucci actually had a collaboration with Hot Wheels, and they made like an old school. If you Google it, an old school kind of, if it was Cadillac or something like that, and it was kind of Gucci print. You could buy it from Gucci. It was about, I don't know, a few £100.
It's about
something ridiculous.
750 now resale.
Oh, nice!
Wow.
And
nice.
I was like, can we do something like that? And she, in the words of Bethany, send them the black car.
Honestly, if you guys had sent a car nearly worth £1,000, I wouldn't expect anything less.
He would have resold it. I can't.
Yeah.
Well, I said to James, what's he doing with all the cars? Is he like, is it a ploy just to like get loads of cars to sell on eBay?
There's a lot going to say after the event for sure.
Yeah.
I thought it was genius. So no, but thank you for that, guys. I just wanted to bring it up because I was very impressed when Ian did his post and showed and displayed how you guys had arrived in the vehicle. I was like, only you guys can arrive in style like that. So question 2 for yourselves is, how did you guys? I kind of, you know, when we've asked the question, how did you meet? I've kind of already got an idea anyway. But how did you guys come about getting into the luxury market? And kind of knowing what you guys know, you know, it's not just, you know, one thing. It's not like, you know, Mulberry. You guys are very knowledgeable in regards to all aspects of most luxury items. So how did you kind of come about getting into these items?
Well, it's that we started at Mulberry. Our career history, if you will. I went to Gucci after Mulberry. Austin went to Jimmy Choo, then Christian Dior. I did consultancy for Burberry, Coach, Salvatore Ferragamo, Sony, Montblanc. And then basically we were commuting. We're Somerset based, and we were commuting. In the end, the last month we were doing 2.5 hours each way to Oxford to go to work. I'd sleep in the car, he would drive, and then we swap. So like when he was working, I literally would sleep. We would park in like the darkest bit of the underground car parking, so I'd go to sleep for the night. The
brutal thing is, you say that like the 2 hours kind of there and back, 2.5 hours was brutal. The worst bit was sometimes, even though we tried to, we couldn't get shift patterns the same. So for example, I started maybe 9, Bethany wouldn't start till 11. Well, rather than take 2 separate cars twice, 2 hours each way, she would come with me and sleep in the car for 2 extra hours, then start her shift. I would finish my shift and sleep in the car for the 2 hours till she finished, and we drive home.
Yeah.
At this point, we had a little one too. So
we had she must have been, I don't know, about
She was young.
She was young at the time.
Yeah.
So we'd only see her at weekends because we were literally, but it wasn't worth it because we were literally sleeping in the car. So it wasn't like we were like, you know,
no,
swanky hotel
out enjoying yourselves.
No, exactly that. And you know what? The truth is, where we were, and the actual brands we work for, most of them had amazing commission. So for, like, and it's individual commission. So if you do well sales wise, you make a huge ton of money, and it was amazing. I wouldn't have anyone slate it and say it's not a bad career. However, one, it's very cutthroat, and which isn't the worst bit. I understand that, and that's kind of business for a lot of people. But I think the worst thing for us was, it sounds really cheesy, but it's the honest truth. There wasn't a way to kind of, if I'm making $1 million, what's the difference if I have no time with the little one? And that's kind of what we were working towards, you know? So we kind of, I don't know, we just kind of decided that life eventually, we'd had enough. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It run its course.
I'll get that. Definitely.
Wow.
Get that.
I'm loving this, by the way, guys. I'm just blown by the amount of companies you work for. Like, if I read my CV, I was like, I've worked for Burton's, a double glazing company.
The strange thing is, though, you say that, like, for example, double glazing as an example. If there's like 10 decent double glazing companies, you've worked for a really good one, instantly you'll find people from the other companies come in to kind of like, not necessarily headhunt, but I suppose in a way, maybe via kind of email or whatever else. Are you interested in this position? Are you interested in this position? It just so happens we were in that sector. So as much as we sit here and say we worked for these companies, which we did and did very well at them, it's one of those things, it's just the industry you're in. And trust me, I would rather say I worked for those places than, for example, and there's no knock on supermarkets, but like, or Tesco's or Morrison's or Waitrose.
Yeah.
Listen, a job's a job. You got to pay the bills, however you look at it.
100%, 100%.
You know, and I'm totally, trust me, we know that. But I think more than anything else, it was just we got into that kind of sector and stayed there, and probably was stupid enough to be able to want to actually commute. For us. For a lot of the places we worked, even London, like, it's so hard unless you have someone on the outskirts. For those jobs, it's usually people who kind of don't have like a large family, or don't have a young family at least, because they can kind of not so much worry about late nights, early mornings. Some of those stores are open till like 11 o'clock in the evening, and they open at 9. You know, it's a long day sometimes, you know.
Yeah, well, my friend who I say my friend is almost a brother-in-law when they decided to get married, and they lived in Burgess Hill, and you know, that was as close as he could get on a train journey. But still, when he was going on his train he was an accountant for a billionaire who owns one of the papers in London. And it's just it's scary. I think he just said to me, so he was saying, I was getting paid well, I was getting taken to parties, I was meeting people like Stephen Fry, singers, all these amazing parties I was going to, and he was like, it was lovely, but he was like, he now works for an accounting company just around the corner. He's just kind of done something similar to yourself. He's gone, as much as the money was there, he wasn't seeing his family, he wasn't seeing his partner, and now he's got a little girl, and you know, I think life just changes.
I think it's the lifestyle, like you just say, life changes. And I think sometimes to have a lifestyle from kind of age X to like age Z is nigh on impossible nowadays, just because things change, not only in our families or whatever else, but the world. And I know that sounds a bit of a big thing to say, but it does. Like from a year to year, whether you have kids, whether you don't, whether you have a big family, whether you don't, that's kind of, your world changes. And I think because it's a lot easier nowadays to kind of become, you know, whatever you want to try and become, or people are more willing to try maybe nowadays. I don't know what it is, but I just think it's worth giving it a whirl sometimes. And I think, thank goodness, a lot of people are waking up to that.
Yeah, definitely. I've just noticed, so I was sat there with my hand up like that, and I've just realised you can see it all on screen. So my son was coming down, and I was just
I thought you were stretching.
I did tell him, I said, I said, I could have blagged it, didn't I? Yeah, I heard the dogs going, and someone's obviously come to the door, and he come down. It's like that, but no, yeah, exactly. Well, one of my previous partner's daughters, she one of my used to call them my kids anyway, the stepdaughters, but she like worked for not as big as brand as that, but Adidas and River Island. She used to design the shops for them, and she used to quite often go out to, I think they had a place in San Francisco she had to go to once a month, and obviously, you know, now she's sort of like you were saying, once you have kids and that, and you know, you don't want to be off doing all that. So now she's got a job for another brand. I can't remember whether it's Boss or someone she's working for now, but you know, she's sort of changed her role to be just based over here and just working where she works, really work not too far away. So yeah, she does that. But I've always sort of got into her and said, you know, what's the discount on this? What's the discount on this job? You know, because she gets.
That's another thing, honestly. Sorry, you want to say?
I was just going to say, the discount. Gucci discount was 50% off anything.
Wow.
But you had a limit, so you were only allowed to spend a certain amount of money a month. Which seems ridiculous, but it wasn't a lot. It was only
no, I know what you mean.
It worked out about $1.50 a month. Not that you should be spending a month, but it doesn't work out that when every single friend and person you ever met in your life is calling
everybody wants stuff.
Gucci aces.
That's nothing. And I think more so than that, a lot of the time, more so in kind of maybe Gucci's not a great example, but some of the Mulberry's a great example. Some of the British brands, because you do have quite a substantial, they allocate you so much you can spend at 50%. What I think is useless. If you get that, no matter what pay grade you are, it doesn't go up, doesn't go down. So you can be on a minimum wage in some of these companies, and they're offering you £1,200 worth of, your wage might just be that. Do you know what I mean? It's the irony sometimes when you initially get to that kind of, I don't know. It's one of those industries. Like when I first started at Mulberry, we were there a few years. When I first started, I hadn't come from sales. I hadn't come from luxury. I'd always enjoyed it, and I say that. I'd kind of collected certain things when I could from my own, from my own want or love of that kind of stuff. But by no means, really had the means to be able to do that all the time or to be obscene with it, so to speak. But I actually was a painter panometer. That was my trade originally for quite a few years. And the funny thing was, when I first started, I was probably 10, maybe 15 years older than most of the people who I was asking for advice. So that was it was one of those things that it was only because I loved the kind of luxury and the kind of, I say luxury, what I mean by that is kind of that environment is I wasn't used to it. I'd never done it. Like you say, sales, no matter what job you do, even if you're selling yourself, you're doing a little bit of sales, no matter what career you're in. It doesn't necessarily have to be sales related to be a sales job. But for me, for sure, I've got to say, I always think back to that first day and thinking, what am I doing here? I was literally, I could tell you the pressure needed to be if you wanted to paint a car on a specific paint gun, no problem. I had no idea about leather or about, a specific zip or exotic skin. It's something you learn, and I think once again, I was happy I did that because there are certain times you think maybe, am I a little bit too old to kind of totally different, you know what I mean? And that's not what people should think. Like we always say on the channel, as much as it jokes.
You're talking like you're in your 70s.
But I feel like that sometimes. You say that, like
I do get that though.
Careers, like
a lot of sales environments are normally anywhere between 16 and 21, and that's normally and they're the people that it's very cutthroat. But the reason why a lot of people like that are put into businesses is because they can be molded. And they've not learned any bad habits. So if you've got a brand that have almost like a script and a way to sell,
exactly,
they can be trained. And these people that the giants know that they're the best people to employ,
of course,
because they're not going to argue with the wages. They're not going to argue with the amount of hours they have to work because they don't have anything else to compare it to.
Exactly.
And as you said there, when you've come there and you've had life experience, whether you're going to 25, 30, 35, 40, you're going to feel naturally out your depth because you've already got your own infrastructure of how to talk and communicate with people. I get that completely. I've had that in a lot of office jobs that I've gone from, and I worked down south for a big energy company, EDF Energy. And I got a job when I was it must have been 21, 22. And I did maybe 7 years with them. And then when I went to work for smaller companies, like I was almost like taken back how less corporate-y things were. And
there you go.
As much as I hated the corporate world, it sounds daft, but I actually wanted to get back into it because I preferred the bonuses, the options,
There you go. That's what, and once
the
again, depending on what
incentives.
age you are, they change. Like even with you, how different was it? Because obviously you had a little bit of retail experience where I had none when you first kind of worked for Mulberry from being in a regular retail experience.
Oh, you had to forget everything you've ever learned anywhere else because you're not doing it that way. It's completely like exactly what you just said. You are molded to be the most perfect salesperson that you could be ever.
It's human as well, isn't it? Like it's not just a salesperson. They expect you to be kind of. And don't get me wrong, I understand a luxury environment should be so, but for example, I can still to this day, the person we who at the time was in management at one of the store we met in, she would shout at the top of her lungs, lean in, because even if you were slightly, rather than kind of straight up, or even if you were slightly slouching, it would have to be like that with your hands behind your back. There was those things which, when you go into those environments, you just think, oh, it just looks smart. The guy's in a suit, girl's in a nice dress, whatever it might be. And it's mad because those things, all these things you have no idea about happen.
Yeah.
They do them in the smallest ways, but as human beings, it's a bit like, do I, I mean, you don't have to go around huffing or anything, but to have your hands behind your back to kind of for 3 hours a day, just waiting for someone, and then, hey, how are you? It's draining, It's hard.
But it's like after you've driven for so many years and you get all your bad habits, and then someone tries to tell you've got to do the 10 to 2 and all that, keep checking your mirrors and all that. Like after you've done so much already and you've sort of got your own way, it is hard to sort of start again and and learn straight from scratch again. It's not easy. Definitely
no, I agree.
Especially as you get older. I mean, my age now, I'd struggle to learn anything now.
22.
Sorry?
Hey, 22, definitely.
Oh, do you know what? You can come back again. put another 30 years on that, and you're bang on. But yeah, nice. And now that's why I like the working for myself in, because I work how I work, and yeah, I'm not having anybody tell me how to stand, how to dress, how to speak. If I want to.
Yeah, did you know what? I just, you were saying, sorry to interrupt you because I interrupt everyone like I just said. But what I was going to say was, you just said about telling people to stand and stuff. That's like, even the dressing. So we were kind of just black suit, white shirt, all supplied by Mulberry. Every season you get a nice suit, blah blah blah. Well, I, like most people, when you get to a certain age, I stopped going to the gym. I started eating and drinking more than I ever had before and put on weight, right? All of a sudden, I've gone up 3 suit sizes. And I don't look that nice in a suit anymore, but I still had to wear it. And I felt like, you know what I mean? Whereas if you work for yourself, listen, if I want to wear sweatpants all day long, I don't. But if I want to do, that's my business. I think sometimes it's those things which are harder than people maybe don't allow for. Because people like to be comfortable in their own skin, and that's hard sometimes when you're being told exactly what to do, when to do it, and how to look.
And I think when you feel comfortable with how you are and how you're working and what you're doing, I think you're more productive, because like you're not sort of standing up straight and worried about dipping your head, or you're not worrying about keeping up that appearance, or doing everything that they want you to do and being everything that you want them to be. If I wanted to do a job like that, I'd join the army. I can't be told what to do. I can't be ordered about. I can't make sure that my clothes haven't got a single speck of dust. I couldn't do it.
And it used to be like that, didn't it? It's crazy. I know, right? I'm not slating. People make great livings and people enjoy it. But for me personally, like there comes a point where you just think, oh, honestly, it's not that serious. The person still is going to, like, someone's not going to turn the other way and say, oh my gosh, he's only got one hand behind his back. He can forget my sale.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not the world,
Yeah, 100%.
Do you want that customer?
It depends on the commission, I'll be honest.
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
right.
I'll say yes for $3,000. So we've got a question from
question number 3 is what platforms do you sell on and why?
Oh, so many answers. So eBay's big dog. It is in any sector or whatever you're in of reselling. We use Vestiaire for predominantly luxury items, but everything is cross-listed. We use Vinted for sort of like high-end high street pieces, just like a quick in, quick out kind of job.
Yeah, like quick turnaround.
We use some specialist luxury ones, which are for items over 10,000.
Wow.
And we obviously have, we normally have our own website, but that we're sort of,
extremely built now. Yeah.
And we also use Depop. Depop we use for like streetwear or anything sort of like what I call hypey. Like, I mean, like what the kids are wearing, you know.
Yeah.
Cool
I say
stuff.
what the kids wear.
Yeah.
Well, I wish
Down
I could
with-
get away wearing now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Down with the
try and use
kids.
them all, every single one.
Yeah,
Down
there you
with
go.
the kids.
There you
yeah.
go.
If you can sell on it, I will use it.
Yeah. Cool.
That's
Because
pretty
there's a lot
cool.
of people, I think, that you know, sort of know eBay and stick to eBay, and you know, a bit, I suppose I wouldn't say frightened, but a bit cautious about, you know, using Vinted or Depop, or you know, because everybody knows eBay. And I think even if you leave eBay and try something else, you always come back to eBay. But you know,
it is the best. It
yeah,
has the most eyes on it. That's the
Like,
problem.
it's,
It
it's,
has,
yeah,
you know,
it's undisputed. It's the champion as regards eyeballs to product.
Yeah.
You can say what you want.
Yeah.
You know, like we were listening to it was actually your first podcast, and you were mentioning that James mentioned you're strictly kind of eBay, which I think, you know, whether when you just start or whether that actually choose your career, it's great, because once again there's a thousand pros and only a few cons. And like you mentioned, I hate to say, but if it's not feeding your family, it's because you're not feeding it. You know what I mean? It's as simple as that. By the same token, I do think that we were very much of that opinion for a long time, and it's only maybe the last, I don't know, 18 months. Maybe, what do you think? 18 months, 2 years, we started using other platforms more productively.
yeah. We slowly dipped our toes in.
Yeah.
We also have brick and mortar stores, so
Wow.
from that perspective, we didn't, in like non-big headed way, we didn't need to use these platforms.
We had the two we had an eBay, and we had a website, and we had the store, so we had kind of three ways to
but
get stock.
obviously since COVID, we had to legally shut down as per government rules, as in like we had to close the premises to sell from. So we had to redirect all our custom online, which is absolutely fine because we had our website, etc. But on a night that our website couldn't cope with everyone coming from in-store online, so we had to then push them to the marketplaces to get our full range of stock, because it's easier for me to list something on eBay and then zip sale it or whatever to all the other platforms.
That's what I was going to say. What do you mean by that? Sorry, but yeah, like, so the people come in the store, our brick and mortar store, it does really well. And with COVID, obviously, it's gone instantly. It's gone. You have to close, boom, and then we reopen after COVID. The thing is, though, like you said about redirecting people to the traffic to the website, the problem is with what we do. So if you've got, for example, I know they have a marketplace now, but an ASOS, a website where you buy or sell clothing, they put a picture of an item, they put a zillion sizes, they put how much stock they have, and that's it. If, for example, even you guys now, say you have 10 pieces of clothing, all those clothing will be different size. Even if you have the same piece of clothing in the same size, those 10, more than likely, unless they're sealed in brand new, which invariably with what we do, it never is, same with you guys, they will all be different. So you still have to take 10 sets of photographs with the maybe a mark here, or this one's slightly weathered or sun faded. So all those different things, when you're in a store where most of that stuff in store, a higher price point, wasn't online on eBay, it was just on our website, or if it wasn't on our website or on eBay, it was just in store for kind of to entice people to come in specifically to the store for a kind of a reason to come in, if you will. And what we found is all of a sudden COVID hit, and we were like, oh, we got like 400 or 500 pieces just sat here now, which instantly have to go online because no one knows they're here.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? And that was high end stock. That wasn't just bits and pieces we picked up. That was some of our highest end stock. So that was a massive mountain climb. And once again, I will say, Bethany, she does all the photographing, all the social media. Like, she does so much.
Bethany does it all.
You people are Jew, no?
Yes.
Yeah, you do.
No, it's for me. It was. I also have like ADHD, so a lot of the reason why I'm not going to other platforms is I know my strengths and weaknesses. I have severe dyslexia, so the fact that I've kind of got my templates, and I'm also fortunate that with eBay they have told us how to display a title the correct way for certain categories. So clothing, they've told us brand, sex, you know, what is the item, what about it, then size.
Size, yeah.
They've told us how to structure it, where I know that works. I know that it's getting the best visibility. I know to maximize as many photos as possible. And because of that, I know some platforms you can only use 3 or 1 or 2 or 5
Of course,
photos.
yeah.
So for me, I've got I think I maybe get 1 return every 2 months on a 400 to 500 plus store at the moment, which I'm planning on growing quite a fair bit, because I've learned that by just having the pit to pit, the top to bottom, and describing that, and I also have a tendency, which I've learned from selling, I also undersell items as well, because I'm dealing with quantity. I always say, I always have a copy and paste statement that says the item has been used with general signs of wear. Please see photos. Even if my item is immaculate and I like literally looks like it's out of the box, I'm saying it's used and it's got signs of wear, because I'd rather undersell it,
And then
because in that way I'm never going to get a disappointed customer.
Exactly that. You know, basically over promise, you know, under promise. Sorry. So when they actually get it, they kind of think, wow, it didn't look, you know, these photos, they were nice and it looked okay, but I've got it and it's actually really, really nice. Or description wise the same. Totally agree.
And it's nice when they let you know that in the feedback as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Like you say,
don't get me wrong.
You're more likely to get better feedback, and obviously that's, you know, some people don't look at it, but a lot of people do look at that.
No, they do. And to be fair, if I was to sell, if I wasn't in the situation I'm in, is that I'm very lucky that we've got a very big house with lots of space that I can grow this business.
Amazing.
And my wife is amazing. She's like, look, you can have basically all our downstairs, our cellars all lagged out. It's like you could live down there. It's lovely. We even made a cinema room down there at one time, which I'm going to get rid of.
Just stop.
So it's really, really nice. But I just want to grow the business, and I've learned, actually, I don't know a lot about quality, and I'll learn that over time buying clothes, because as I'm going through it, I'm going to learn brands. But right now, I want to sell clothes. They're more accessible, and I think the situation was, my wife was saying to me, she was saying, I was going, oh, I need the boot sales, and then as I've got into clothing, I've gone, I don't need the boot sales.
You don't really need
exactly.
I don't
need it. Yeah. And I'd like to get to the point eventually whereabouts I can get stock. And I can get stock regularly, whereabouts I actually don't really want to be getting up at 5 o'clock every single Saturday or every single Sunday. So, and clothing seems to be a 12-month plan. And I'm sure you guys know anyway, I think the forecast, say secondhand market's worth, I don't know at the moment, say it's worth about 3 billion. I think there's talks of it being worth 12 billion in the next 5 years. Like, it's going to literally like skyrocket.
I just think whatever your opinions, and to be fair, I have my own, but they are my own opinions, so it is what it is. But I think whether you're into fashion or you're not, I think the buzzword of sustainability helps no end. Being really honest, I've always been a fan of buying pre-owned, not just because I sell it, because to be fair, there are the odd occasion we sell brand new with tags as well. So I'm not going to sit here and say only sell sustainable clothing. It's unrealistic, you know. By the same token, that doesn't mean that the pre-owned market won't keep going and going and going. And I think where previously you had either designer items or maybe vintage items where people were buying pre-owned, now people are buying something from maybe even a fast fashion company, like well, you know, fast fashion companies, I won't go through all those, but and they'll buy it on eBay for a few pounds less, but 2 or 3 people have had use out of that. Now, in my opinion, it was made, it's been manufactured, so we may as well use it as many times as we can, and without sounding too idealistic, it wins. Everyone wins. It works out, doesn't it?
Well, when this podcast comes out, I don't watch the show, but Love Island should be on.
Yep.
And Love Island is sponsored by eBay, and a lot of the clothes that they're wearing will be pre-owned clothes.
Yeah.
And I think that is going to help a lot of millennials and a lot of younger audience realize eBay's audience, and I think it's a fantastic marketing deploy for them.
Do you know what I think is outstanding, and what I actually appreciate is what you'll find. I mean, once again, how would I possibly know? But I'm guessing. I would guess that they have amazing stylists, and we sell not these particular stylists, but we sell to loads of stylists, whether it's for kind of basic photo shoots or even like music or film or whatever. We do sell to a lot of different stylists. And what I would say is, I think what they'll do is stylize them, so where you can buy, whether the piece is very expensive and it's a designer piece, or it's just something which is kind of happened to be pre-owned and it works for that outfit. I think with Love Island, would you not agree that they're gonna have great looking outfits, and it will give people in their minds then, because for some not everyone necessarily can put an outfit together. Not you know, and for a lot of, I said not many, but most people can't. That's just kind of how it is. Some people just put clothes on to physically cover their body, and you know,
that's why stylists are stylists. That's why they get paid the money
exactly
to do it.
Exactly that. And I think for a lot of people, more so than anything else, with that kind of thing with Love Island, it will give people the creativity and a bit more ambition to be able to think, well, they did it, like I could do that. Or because I think sometimes people need a kick in the you know what, and being more so into kind of fashion and luxury after years and years dealing with different ladies and men and whatever else, where you put something on which maybe they wouldn't have normally or buy or try normally, and they're overwhelmed. That is what they'll be doing, fingers crossed, by putting those people on Love Island, and it's amazing for everyone involved.
Yeah, 100%. I really, you know, I'm not a big necessarily fan of the show, but the audience wise
It'll be
is
interesting to
phenomenal,
see, though.
and it's a
Huge.
talking point. Like literally, when it's on, whether you're a fan or you're not, you're gonna see clips and you're gonna know about it. So I do hope. I do think eBay's just literally been very clever regarding their marketing, and I think it is the most viewed ITV program. The numbers and the ratings, which is fantastic. And the reason why I say it's fantastic, not to be selfish, but obviously eBay's GSP, but this is our UK customers, and I just think if we can get them more people on that app, it's app friendly, it's easy for them to come on. And I'm sure they've already been very clever, and they've already preempted that all these Love Island contestants have probably signed agreements to be the fashion models on the app, on the store, on the new adverts as well. Yeah. I just think they've got very cheap models who are going to be worth a lot of money in time to come after they've done the show, but they agree all the contracts prior. And I just think fair play, like what a really good way of marketing.
Because once again, as much as this is a reselling podcast, even if you think as basic as, and she's probably the person who's done the best from Love Island, but even Molly May, for example, from years and years ago.
Yeah, she's done well.
She got a multi-million-pound deal, and fair play to her. For whatever you think of her, she's made a great career, and she's making a lot of money, you know. And I hate to say, but one thing about being a reseller, it's very hard to hate on someone making a lot of money.
Yeah, definitely. And I think as well, like it will give, because obviously I used to have a stigma. I wouldn't like to wear it. You know, my mum when I was a kid used to put me in secondhand clothes from like jumble sales and stuff, and I was like, I was just mortified, you know. And it took years until I was a reseller. I wouldn't even go into charity shops. I dread the thought. But like now, I think I couldn't tell you the last time I actually bought for myself anything new. I couldn't tell you, because if the only time I get something new is if my wife buys me it for Christmas.
It's a present, exactly that.
Other than that, literally everything I buy is from charity shops. So
do you think that's, I'm asking you a question now, but do you think that's because of your kind of your reselling, due to reselling? Does it coincide time wise with reselling?
Yeah, I think it is, because like I say, before I actually started reselling, I didn't even think about looking in charity shops. Since 2003, I used to work alongside my brother, and we've bought and sold film props and costumes and everything movie related. Since 2000, he did it since 2000. I did it since 2003, and for the last 15 years, unfortunately, he passed away from cancer last July. But he was working for Brian Blessed, the actor. So he did that for sort of 15 odd years. And so doing that, I mean, obviously you go and buy secondhand stuff, but it's stuff that's used on film. So the charity shop thing, until I started reselling when I was put on furlough, I wouldn't even go into a charity shop. And then I started watching, like, you know, maybe Nick Hills, and my daughter, she said, we did a car boot yesterday. And she said, I said, oh yeah, you know, we're doing this podcast with luxury pickers. She goes, oh, I've been watching the luxury pickers, you know. And it's like, until I started watching people like yourselves and, you know, Nick Hills and the other guys, I wouldn't have even thought about going into a charity shop. But when I started seeing them picking up the gems, I thought, all right, well, I'm going to be buying and selling. And then as soon as I got in there and I saw, that's a nice T-shirt for £2, or, you know, that's a nice point. A nice set of trainers that are still in good nick, got loads of wear in them, for like £5, £6, £7.
There you go.
I'm going to do that. Rather, my stepdaughter, that was her Gucci dust cover for her sliders, for her Gucci sliders.
Yeah.
All legit, all proper. She spends like fortunes on designer clothes. Give me second hand any day now, any
Yeah.
day.
That's the thing. I think at the end of the day, like you just said, you hit the nail on the head. There's so much out there as well, and because people have been told, I think it's slowing down, like you say, as regards the new buying. But because people are always going to buy new, there'll always be a second-hand market, because as soon as someone's buying new, eventually that becomes old. So it's a cycle. I think, like you just said, now I think that even since we started doing kind of not just reselling but kind of the luxury stuff, everyone is always. I think when they buy, they are really buying that kind of sustainable. Easy for me to say, sustainability side of things. And I think, like you just said, if you can add that to a massive multinational kind of corporation like eBay, and something as huge as Love Island, which is seen not only in the UK but all over the world, you're not going to lose. I don't care what they're spending; they will reap those rewards.
100%.
Hopefully, so do we.
Well, I think they spend at the moment anywhere between £2 and £3 million per day, eBay, just on advertisements. That's per day. So from an investment, I bet they'll laugh. I bet the person who came up with the idea of Love Island, I bet they got a nice, as you talk about commission, I bet someone got some nice commission for that.
There's something in your paycheck end of the month.
Yeah, so someone's going to get a nice thing. Talking about money and commission and things like that. Now I'm looking forward to this answer, because if it was me, the answer's about £200. So, but
I've already heard the figure if something's over 10,000 quid. So
honestly, it's scary, like how amazing you guys both are. But what has been, and it not necessarily even value, but it could be, and I'm looking forward to this question. What has been your best pickup ever? And it could be asked to both of you individually, because you both might have something that you both are really proud of. But what has been your best pickup ever?
To be honest, I've got a really, like, my mind is very logical. Like, it's all organized up in here. It's like Marie Kondo in my brain. So I put everything in categories. So I have like a top. We were talking about this the other day. I have a top, like, high end one. I have a top charity shop one. I have a top boot sale one. I have a top vintage one. So it's
like
really,
when you found them.
Yeah, because I couldn't, like, for example, we found a IRO jacket. It's an American brand produced in France. Leather jacket. I found that for £10 in a charity shop in a tiny little village over there, and we sold that in a week for £350. However, that was fantastic. However, I wouldn't categorize that, probably percentage wise was a good sort of find, but is it my favorite and most
or the highest?
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's all. Go on, you say, is that your favorite?
And then obviously there's the ones we do.
I knew this was going to be like 3 or 2 parts. I just knew.
Categorize as part of our other business, our main business, which obviously the luxury pickers pick for the main business, where we've done the handbags for over 30, 40, 50,000. But we paid up. We had to pay 15,000 for the pleasure of owning it in the first place. That's
also sometimes on our main business, when we actually sell an item, sometimes it's kind of someone will ask for something in a specific color or style or a season. We'll take a deposit, find it, and then kind of take to them.
So I don't think that counts.
We don't put those on Instagram. We don't put those anywhere else. It's more kind of. I guess it's personal.
The stuff we find in the wild,
we will show that all day long. But by the same token, I think it's unfair if we're say, for example, I'm buying a bag in for a customer, which is going to end up spending maybe 20,000 with us. If I'm spending 11.5 or 12 myself, as much as there's a massive profit there, I'm still spending a huge amount of money. So it's not like I'm finding that, I'd love to say, look, found in a charity shop, 20 grand. Like, it's unrealistic,
if we're talking charity shops.
Yeah.
If we're talking charity shops and boots,
we are.
This. My favorite one, which isn't luxury at all, is we found a 1980s Smiths t-shirt for £3. And it was literally paper thin, you could see through it, and we sold it to a
was it like a tour one, or like just like a
it was from the UK leg of the tour. I can't remember
the tour is the, if you know this, Mr. Tour, it's the young boy with like floppy blonde hair and he's got an ice lolly. That's the visual.
Yeah.
The other one, yeah.
And we put it on our Instagram. At the time, we had a vintage shop. Long story. We had a vintage shop, and
We've done a lot.
we put it on our Instagram, and he contacted us, and he bought it from us for $500. And he offered the price. We didn't know what it was. It was £3.
We did some research, and it was kind of sitting around £300-400, £300-400. But the chap, actually messaged. I thought it was like a joke because it was from a Smith's page, and we kind of contacted him. He's based in Japan. You were Japan?
No, New York, Brooklyn.
He was Japanese, and he lived in New York. That's it. It was one or the other. Sorry, but yeah, he contacted us, said, I'm happy to pay this, which means it was once again classic reselling move. Then this is years ago.
More.
I would have been like, whoa, double, triple that. But in fairness, we paid a few pounds, and that was a great sale. But what's really cool about that is he's like the head of like a Smith's kind of he had a museum kind of what do you call it, exhibition, and the t-shirt was not only in the exhibition, but they made prints from that original t-shirt to sell.
Wow.
So that was cool, as opposed to just the kind of monetary stuff, you know.
Yeah. What was yours? Were you gonna say that one?
Yeah, do you know what? I probably would have. You've stole my shine now.
We bought. I got a good one.
Talk and I'll think.
I got a good one. We got contacted by a house clearance company, and they had cleared out a house, and they had bin bags of clothes. And she said, the lady said there's some sweaty Betty stuff in there, like, you know, the gym stuff.
Yeah.
Expensive gym wear. So we were like, all right, yeah, we'll take it. So we went down to their unit, and you know, it's literally a house clearance place. It's like it's just rubbish everywhere.
Like house clearance places would be.
Yeah.
And I was going through these. Bin bags, and it was the biggest collection of 90s couture that we've ever got in one go. Gucci, Tom Ford, when Tom Ford took over Gucci in the 90s,
and that era right now,
1995 Chanel runway,
like that era, Tom Ford, Gucci now, like early 2000s, 1998, 96 even. That's like the piece you want. It's kind of, you know, like kind of the 80 football shirts are like the ones to buy right now for like multiple hundreds. In what we do, that's the kind of era you really want from Gucci right now.
Yeah.
But I sold off all the stuff I wasn't interested in. I kept quite a lot for myself, my collection, if you will. But that Chanel dress, 1995 runway, it worked out that we paid £7.50, and we sold to a stylist in Los Angeles for $1,250.
Wow.
And I sold that on Depop.
Oh wow. That's cool.
So once again, as much as most of the people on Depop are drippy 92, a lot of the people, the username I'm talking about, obviously, but a lot of people, like stylists and stuff, use that because, to be quite frank, and same with vintage, a lot of people who sell kind of higher end pieces, which maybe just selling them because they know the brand as opposed to the actual piece, end up selling them for undervalue them a lot. So people like stylists, for example, or collectors will use those platforms to buy really, really cheap what should be really expensive.
Yeah.
Mine would be, I've just been thinking now, it was actually at a boot sale. It was there was a pile of handbags at a boot sale on the floor. We love we haven't done a lot of boot sale videos, but we do a lot of digging. I do. I'm happy to get my hands and knees and crack on. If there's money to be made, let's do it.
Yeah, definitely.
And there were a lot of like just basic, really cheap kind of knockoffs and so on. And what you usually find, more often than not, actually, is people who have a lot of knockoffs. There may be once or twice they'll get bought something, or maybe a gift for Christmas, like you were saying earlier, a gift for Christmas, or whether it's a purse or something small or something bigger. And what you find is if those are being cleared from a house, a lot of the time, if you see a load of knockoffs, you might be lucky enough to find something authentic. So I've gone through this pile, no. And this lady just looked at me from the back of the car and said, "Oh, they're all knockoffs. They're £1 each." So I thought, okay, carry on. I came across this. That's what made me think about it. It's a Tom Ford Gucci, so it's a black kind of a black bag this size with a leather strap, a large G in the center, from this particular era, and that went for, what did I sell for?
2.5.
Yeah, 2,500.
£1,000. £1.
From £1.
Wow.
So once
Wow.
again, just keep
Crazy.
digging.
That's well worth it. Jeez.
I
That's
was
amazing.
thinking. I was thinking when you're saying that, I was thinking, yeah, I've made £40 doing that one time. Because the scenario I had, which is nowhere near as exciting, it was just like the classic. I went on the rail, and it was Blue Harbour, Blue Harbour, Blue Harbour, Blue Harbour, Blue Harbour, Blue Harbour. But then there was a nice toast piece there.
There you go.
And she said, "Oh, I got that bought for me, and it was a really nice gift." And as you
There you
said,
go.
and I think the lesson I learned then is, book by its cover. Just because there's 1 or 2 a million
you go.
M&S's, Blue Harbours here, keep digging, because as you said there, people do get given a nice gift. It might be, you don't know what their brother did. In the amount of time
There you go.
people go, "Oh yeah, my
Yeah.
brother, he designs Concorde," and you're like, "Oh, no wonder he's just sent you a nice
There you
Gucci
go.
or Louis Vuitton, whatever."
Even with us, like for example, like my mum for sure. Now she has a few bits and pieces, but my mum growing up, there's no way in the world she would have had bits and pieces from the designers or the luxury companies we've worked for ever. Which wouldn't have happened. Just financially was not in the grasp. Now, if someone cleared my mum's house out, if they initially, if you look at majority of the stuff, with all due respect, it's not on that level. But the pieces we've got, or she's been,
So she has got gems in there.
That's what I'm saying. And I think everyone has, with all due respect, most people, if not everyone necessarily, but I think a lot of people will be bought things through their life.
Yeah.
And if the house is cleared, or for whatever reason, I don't know, whatever reason it might be, they've just moved or whatever, you just don't know. So I'm always, that's why in even our videos, we're always just, you check the tires or check the belts, because you just don't know. And that's how we make a living.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. My wife, she's got some, because obviously when she was with her ex-husband, he had his own business, and like they had money then. Now we're skint. But so she's got herself a nice little collection of designer bags and that she's had over the years. So, I mean, obviously her girls are going to inherit those anyway, I would have thought. And she's inherited, jewelry from Jewish relatives or whatever, you know what I mean? So she's got diamonds and whatever else. Well, I shouldn't probably be saying that on here. So,
the address was?
Yeah, but that's right. We've already got burgled just before the last Christmas, so we should be all right now. But the thing is, like, if the girls weren't gonna inherit those, whoever gets that stuff, you would look through, and like she wears River Island, she wears like normal clothes, she doesn't buy herself, she's not extravagant in that way. But she did like a nice handbag, so she's got a nice little collection of handbags. So although she's got like River Island bags or Next bags or New Look bags, if someone was to go through it later on in life, there's gems in there for 100%. There is.
There you go. See, and I think that goes for a lot of people, more so than we even think about. Like when you're just talking about high end or more expensive things. Let's put it that way.
Definitely.
Question 5, Richard.
Yeah, is it mine? Is it?
Is indeed.
Right. So, what are the plans with your YouTube channel, and what can we expect?
Get over bloody 1,000.
Get over 1,000.
Don't worry, that's going to happen. That'll happen.
When this comes out, it's happened.
I'm absolutely shocked that you're not already on 1,000. I'm shocked.
Yeah, I hope so. No, do you know what is? We like I said, we had a different. We have a separate channel with kind of like authentication and kind of involving the bags and stuff like that. Kind of more not tutorials, but showing people different things and techniques and so on. And when we did that, we did it for like a year solid. But it was such a niche, because as much as we were reselling, obviously, and we have been for years, it was one of those things that unless you really want to look about like the details on this particular item or this, like most people don't care, and that's fine. I understand that. It was for a specific kind of niche demographic. But when we started doing these, it was honestly, like I know a lot of people say, "Oh, we were so shocked." Genuinely, even when you quote things like earlier, you quote things from our videos, I still don't believe people watch them. I'm almost like this is a setup. Like, and I'm not just saying that to say it. Don't you find it so weird that people have seen us do things that, like, when you got a GoPro on, you don't think about it.
It's bizarre. We talked about doing it a few years ago, but because we have the shop, we have a number of customers who don't want to know how much their items cost. I know it sounds funny, but we have physical people that we have to see,
Yeah.
like customers that we have to see online when you're selling on eBay. And although we have to obviously give customer service, we never really get to have to look those people in the whites of their eyes and say, yeah, your handbag was like £3 at a field last weekend, and you just spent 400 quid. Sorry about that. But so we had to sort of, how we did it, we had to sort of cater. I don't know, we show more on the channel, we show a lot more of our sort of like mid-range stuff and chuck in some luxury, because we buy the mid-range to fund the luxury because it's all quick sellers, etc. But and also other resellers can relate to that content. I mean,
definitely.
if we're just chucking Gucci, Chanel at you all the time, you're probably going to switch off at some point.
And once again, like you said, we don't like, that's not like, I would love to say, and this is coming from us direct, well, me at least, the voice piece, the mouthpiece. I would love to find Chanel, Hermes, like Dior, any of these brands in the wild for £1.
Yeah.
Like I just told you, it's happened once in the last however many years. So if I class that as one of my like peaks after that, we're doing it every single day for that many years, like the odds of that happening, you know, like so slim. So for anyone to come and say, "Oh, you probably bought it for £1," show me where I can buy it for £1. I'll buy 50. You know what I mean? No problem.
Definitely.
But like Bethany said, I think the key is to show people that, you know, you can buy really nice things, whether it's for yourself, whether it's to resell, and whether some, you know, I always find it strange when someone, and people do it a lot, don't get me wrong, but people will get a message on their channel to say kind of, oh, can I buy X from you? And I find it really strange because, like, I've just bought this for £1, you want to buy it for 50, which is really cool, don't get me wrong, but I'm like, I can give you a discount, like it's not a problem, because I feel, not that I feel bad, that's business, you know. Reselling in its purest form, Tesco, they might sell new product, but they're resellers, they buy bulk and they sell it in a shop.
Everyone pays less. Everybody that sells pays a smaller price for what they're selling you, and that's life. It's business. You know, I mean, you're not in a business to buy something for 50 quid and go, I feel really bad. Hang on, I'll just stick £1 on. Do you know what I mean?
Someone mentioned a couple of weeks ago to us, we had a message and they said, oh, they were really, really nice. And they said, do you not feel sometimes a bit weird about this kind of topic? Like kind of speaking on things where you're eventually going to sell, you would see on eBay or Depop, and you feel bad. And I said, you know, when you walk into Tesco's, and I gave the analogy I just gave, and you buy a multi-pack of Coke, or you buy some biscuits or whatever you might buy, you realize all that is being charged a lot less for. Tesco's aren't just doing that because they're not doing you a favor. They're not just there because, you know, we're doing this to help you. They've charged you more, and you're aware of that, but you don't think about it like that because you don't. As much as you're well aware, you don't see it firsthand. So there's no difference. But I think for a lot of people,
what are our YouTube plans for this year?
What are they? To stop talking.
To get to 1,000, which is going to be so easy. I'm shocked that you're not already.
Well, also, you talked about the tour of the UK. You talked about America as well in the video. So, how was all that? How's the plans for that coming on?
Really, actually, without sounding too sappy,
we want to get a really. I really want a van. I know it sounds like the weirdest thing that's ever been said. I really want a van, and
I want to swap my car for a van.
And I want to stick the luxury pickers on the side and just go around the UK picking.
Yeah,
and sort of just live out of van. Not.
Yeah. Do you watch the American one? Who's the American? Is it the American Pickers? Is that what they're called?
There's two guys go
around. Yeah.
Yes.
That's a similar sort of thing that you want to do. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Exactly.
Would you never consider doing any of your YouTube videos around your shop? You've got a bricks and mortar shop. Would you never?
We have done.
We've done videos on the other channel in regards to it. My issue at the moment is how I incorporate the two worlds together. Without, you know, it's for me, they're two separate things in my head. So the main business is the sort of the baby. It's called it's called BS, which is my initials.
As in bull.
As in bull.
Yeah.
And it's always been mine. It's always been my like my
She's
child.
just dragging me along for the ride, I'll be honest.
And we expanded into our biggest premises in 2020, just as we went into lockdown.
Wow. Oh, nice.
And
That's
then we
perfect.
can open.
Classic banter.
How big is it? It's like the size of a small Woolworths.
That's huge. Like,
Oh, wow.
Wow.
people will be like, oh, it's not that big. It's bloody huge. And honestly, every time I go in there, it's like,
I sort of don't want to be like, here's my massive shop.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the problem is, I think once again, then you get some. What's hard is people are so brutal anyway, right? I think personally, and they can be brutal if you come across a certain way.
Yeah.
And I think to show people my kind of more of us and kind of what we do on a daily. So even if I happen to have a Ferrari outside, if I show my Ferrari first and I look at me get in my car, people are like, that's
Yeah.
What a dickhead.
That's how it is. I could be the same guy, the hard graft, it doesn't matter, but people's opinion change. So I know that the shops are Ferrari, not for a second.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, I think it's easier sometimes to let kind of people understand and know what we do.
Yeah.
Before kind of building towards that.
Yeah.
But I think I mean, I'm talking for both of us, so I always do. But I think we keep both channels separate anyway. No, because it's a different content.
Yeah.
You know.
So what color is your Ferrari?
Oh, it's black. No, I'm joking.
No comments. No, it's not Ferrari.
No, it's not a Ferrari. You're laughing now like it's a Ferrari.
It's not a Ferrari. No, it's not. It's not a Ferrari.
No, it's a Lamborghini. We've seen it.
Yes,
We've seen it.
yeah.
Luxury pickers down the side. We've seen it. And as the doors open, it says alterations are available.
There you go.
Yeah.
No
We
problem.
leave that to Cola Flipper.
Yeah, exactly. But I want to swap. I've only got a Honda Civic, but I said to the wife, now my kids are grown up and I don't need to. I've got my son living with me, so I don't have to go and pick him up at his mum's and stuff, and I don't have to do that sort of running about where I need the 4 seats, 5 seats. You know, I'm gagging to get a van. So I
Do you know what? I've
get
never
more
had a van
stuff in
my
it.
entire life. I've had a gazillion different cars. I've never had a van. And doing this longer, if I have to put the back seats down in the car again, honestly, I'm going to do something seriously mental because it's just too much all the time. And like I said, we got a little one, so then you got to get the seat back in, or it's a lot.
My car's still got.
Down in the Ferrari.
Well, yeah, yeah, exactly. My car's still. My car's still full of the car boot stuff. It's still got all the car boot stuff in it. It'll probably be in there for another week.
There you go. No, that's it.
But if you had a van, you can't see it.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. Also, do you know what? The cheapest storage ever, if you buy a cheap van as well, just park it outside and it's like a storage unit on its own.
Yeah,
We've been looking at industrial units, and we went to look at some, what they call storage containers.
Yeah, storage containers.
Yeah.
And I was trying to tell the woman in a nice possible way, they're just too small. 20 foot by 8 foot is too small. And she was looking at me like I'm a crazy person. I was like, I need at least 4 or 5 of these. And I was like, but it's the same with a van. You can show it in a van.
And the thing is, once again, like that sounds extreme, but if you think we're like every single day for the last 5, 6, maybe 7 years or something. Hold on, that's long enough.
We opened our first shop in 2000. No, going way back. We opened a shop when we started reselling because we didn't think you could resell any other way. We didn't.
That makes sense.
We thought you had to have a shop to resell. We actually started at Portobello Market. That was where we started reselling.
Yeah, that was really cool.
And we get up at 3 a.m. to try and get a stall because it was very competitive. Yeah, first come, first serve. And
we're based in Somerset, remember, at this point.
Yeah.
But we didn't want to do that because once again we weren't solving the commuting issue. We were commuting further.
Yeah. By doing that.
So we opened the shop first. 2016 we opened our first shop, so that's when we quit our jobs and went full-time reselling. 2016, but we ended up just using that shop as a storage unit.
And you know the people on the street, the store, everyone initially we opened, we had nice windows and blah blah blah, and the crazy thing was just so quickly it became you know how it is, you buy an item, you sell it, you buy 5 items, 6 items, 7 items, then you flip those, and it just snowballs. And snowball is the word because and don't get me wrong, not all these items are were Chanel or Gucci, or these were like kind of bread and butter stuff as well. But being really honest, it's so quickly, like you said you're lucky enough you got the space in your house. To be honest with you, if that's such a massive thing that people underestimate how important that is, because having a couple of shirts laying over the back of a sofa or something is not a problem. But when you've got tubs. You know,
Yeah.
sealing
Yeah,
in it,
and it's
like,
heavy, and it's heavy. One thing people don't ever take into consideration, everyone goes, yeah, clothing's easy, this, that, and other. Like, I'm just listening to the amount of stock that you've got, and I'm going, Jesus, you need a van just to move it. Like,
we have it in
like,
different places. I think if it was all in one place at the moment until we get a storage unit, I think it would be a bit overwhelming, being honest. Because most of it,
100%.
I'll be honest, most of it's not even listed, is it? No, you know, and we just keep going and going and going. But I think that's the point. Isn't that whole point of reselling? You pick something up for,
Yeah,
if you can start reselling business with £1. Now you're not going to be able to
100%.
feed your family for a little while. I get it, but you can start it that simply.
Everything you see behind me, everything I earn, the fact I've left my job, started. I'll be doing it 2 years in August. It started with some slabs in the back of the garden that I dug up, council slabs, and I listed on a 99p auction. And I've never, in all the time of doing it, and I had a full-time job, I never put a penny into the business.
That's my point. And
Not at all. Didn't want to.
It sounds very, like I say, very idealistic, very cheesy to somewhat, but that is the dream. Like to think all that stuff's behind you, and it is. I think it's a picker mentality too. We say it all the time. Like if we haven't got like 100 X items around us, which we haven't listed, that's like, it's not a nest egg, but you think I'm good. You know your bills minimum are going to get paid, right?
Yeah.
All you got to do is get off, list a couple of items, steam them, ideally, but you know what I mean, and get it done. I think a lot of people they sometimes with reselling, it's thrown around so easy, but if you're a grafter and you're willing to do it and put the work in, you can do it. It's not, it's just there.
It's like anything else. It's not going to get handed to you. A lot of people sort of see the videos and found this bolo. In fact, you don't find a bolo isn't an everyday thing that you go out and find. You don't go out and find. Like for instance, I contacted you guys about that shirt that I found last week.
Awesome shirt, by the way. Awesome shirt.
I've probably seen that label before and just thought nothing of it because, like, obviously it's not the normal Ralph Lauren.
No, it's double RL.
Yeah, but. I mean, what an amazing thing! Like, I would never have even thought about it, and like knowing you guys know what you know, it was just handy that I could contact you, and you got back to me so quick. It was unbelievable, But like, I would never have dreamed about a shirt like that from a charity shop, and it's crazy.
And the thing is, that shirt retail, I mean, it's multiple hundreds, that shirt retail. They even, last time we went to London, this is going, was your birthday, like 6-7 months ago, they had a pop-up in Carnaby Street, just off Carnaby Street, for that particular brand, not Ralph Lauren, not Polo, double RL. It's a kind of Western wear for Ralph Lauren.
Yeah.
And once again, it's just knowledge. Someone said to us the other day, "Why, don't you feel like you're telling everyone your secrets? What secrets? Like, I'm going to go and pick that shirt up. I'm not going to come to. I don't.
That's what I'm saying.
Your charity shop's full of them. Your charity shop's full of them. Come on,
that's a once in
already.
Yeah. I mean, I've been reselling. Well, over 2 years now. Doing the secondhand stuff, and I do vintage, and I buy and sell pretty much anything. But like in over 2 years or 2.5 years, I've never found that before. So like, it's like when people see that on videos, I try and sort of, say that, this is a lovely thing. You're not going to go out and find it all the time. That's why every time, we sort of say, what advice we'd give or whatever. And we always say, start by selling your own stuff. It's not. You have got to put the graft in. You're not going to get things given to you. You might get stuff given to you, but you're not going to get them given to you. And it is graft. And like you said, if you put the graft in, you're gonna reap the rewards.
100%.
I think to just like to end that part of the conversation, I think what the other thing is, which kills me off, is we always say research, right? And like we've said before, we say on Instagram all the time and YouTube videos, just ask us whatever. It might take an hour, it might take 10 minutes, it might take 3 days to get back to you. I'll be honest. Like people charge a lot. There's multiple companies which will authenticate things on site, and they charge sometimes up to 50 or 60 quid an item. On high-end handbags, it will be a lot more than that. And we're happy to do it because, like I say, it doesn't, honestly, I don't know how people can think that it would affect us in a negative manner. All we're trying to do is, trying to help people out. We had a comment or a message the other day, and someone said, how do you authenticate X? And I said, honestly, I'm like, it's not that I won't tell you. I can't tell you. It's like, how long's a piece of string? It's like me saying to Conor McGregor, how do you be the best? How do you become really good at MMA? Or how do you do jiu-jitsu? Or how do you build a car? Like, it's not an answer. You can't.
No,
exactly.
It's not a kind of.
There's a whole
I can
process.
give you a
There's a
few
system in
pointers.
place.
Those pointers may be incorrect to the certain thing you're talking about. Would you?
100%. So we spoke about it kind of briefly, but I wanted to ask you guys a question, which is what. So apart from obviously picking up the stock, which we've seen on the videos, but what does a normal working day work for you for yourselves, and kind of give us a run over from like wake up around about this time, we'll do our packages at this time. As you mentioned, you got bricks and mortar. We might check this site, we might do this, that, and the other, and then we'll list X amount. But I'd just be really interested because you guys have got so much going on. How does a working day? I think we've got an idea of who's putting in the main graft there. I know who the real
100%.
worker is.
And you know what? For the love of me, I'll never disagree because that's exactly what it is. Like honestly, there were certain things I do and there's certain things Bethany do, and that side.
Bethany's smashing it.
100%. 100%.
I'm a bit of a control freak, so I can't.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a lot that to it as well. Like I mean.
We hired a couple of people over last summer because we had another long story, but we had a cafe and we hired. Yeah,
we didn't have enough going on, you understand?
Honestly,
As you do, yeah, just have a calf.
I drove past.
It happened like that. It happened like that.
And I say, oh. Fancy a petrol station. There's a lot of money in petrol, isn't there? Like, and I
but with no reference at all, or never dealing with any kind of petroleum-based project.
Just be an idea that pops into your head.
Honestly, we hired, and by the end of like a 6-month period, I was ready for them to go back to uni because they offer uni because they were doing my heading because they weren't doing it like exactly how I wanted to, and they were probably doing the best job ever, but.
I think that's the thing with reselling. What I think people enjoy doing it for themselves is you can control that. Whether you want to do 25 listings, 100 listings, whether you want to do 5, you know, or whether you want to go picking that day, whether you don't, whether you like, you can choose that. Now, in my opinion, you're choosing your kind of your good side or your bad side because you can sit in bed if you choose to, but that's not going to make you anything. It's not going to do anything for that day. And what definitely as regards eBay, that's a whole negative act.
But what do we do in a day?
But as regards us, from what I don't know.
Austin gets up at.
See, this is the difference.
Austin gets up at like 7 to do all the school run stuff because
Bethany thinks I get up at 7. I get up at 6, okay, just to start. She realised I've left the bed at 7. That's what happens.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't have anything to do with school or anything like that. In fact, if a teacher talks to me, then I like shrivel up in a corner and like I can't.
Yeah, I'm a girl dad, so I'm on it with that stuff.
And I know your other half's teachers. No offense to teachers. I just don't.
No, I agree with you.
I just don't want them to talk to me. Anyway,
it's more of a shyness thing, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. So, like, like a casual day. At the moment, we're working through the death pile of the biggest death pile ever. We've got about 5,000 items in our death pile currently.
That's, you know, it's not even, we'll take a picture when this actually gets kind of released. We'll take a picture to kind of coincide with that because
basically at the start of it, I feel like our like reseller like schedules changed somewhat. So over the last 6 months we've made the shop itself at the moment
as of now, so that's been for months.
Appointment only. So because it's just you spend a lot of time just being in a shop, and unless you can get staff to do like the sale transactions, etc., you waste a lot of time just standing in a shop. Anyway, so we made it appointment only to try and get through this sort of backlog we had of like online sales. So I delisted everything from my eBay, like
to zero.
So we went from a 6-figure eBay store, and I took everything off.
Wow!
I thought we actually watched. I think Kieran from Roger Around got to like 5,000 subs or whatever it was. I can't remember, 4,000 whatever. And they said, "Oh, if you put your store into holiday mode, then it'll kickstart your sales." And I'm like, I'm just gonna take everything off. I'm going to take everything off. I'm going to re-photograph everything.
Yeah.
So everything
Jeez.
has the same picture, like as in the background picture. And I'm then going to spend the next year relisting.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I did it. At the time, I think I was having one of those petrol station moments where I thought I'd buy a petrol station.
No, I think you did. I think it was the best thing ever.
It has kicked, like, the sales is through the roof compared. I think it got a bit stale because we were very much in the shop environment for the last couple of years. Anyway, so our day of the life at the moment, I'm aiming for 25 to 50 photographs and listings. So I have to start that early because I'm really anal. I like the light to be a certain light, so I photograph between 11 and 2.
Yeah, it makes sense.
If I can get 25 to 50 between 11 and 2, I can then spend the 11 till 5 doing other things. So, like, I know, admin, post office. You do post office runs.
I do all the shipping.
All the sort of like you got to do something.
Yeah.
All the sort of boring jobs like skewing, organizing, everything like that. And then I normally start listing about 7 and I go to about 3 in the morning every single day.
At this point, I'm on wash, clean, and just get everything ready duty, not for as in our home or our house or the people in the house, for eBay listings. Because everything we do, we wash, we clean, we're quite meticulous that way. Dry clean. If it needs dry cleaning, obviously I can't wash it. It goes to dry cleaning, the shipping, just kind of like. But that's kind of parallel.
But then that's always broken up by the fact you've got to do social media,
Yeah.
not just for like I like social media marketing. I like that side of the business, if you will. So I try and apply that to the luxury pickers, that sort of like marketing yourself. But I've also got to do that for the other business. I'll keep that alive and people, actually like engaging. And I think we've got 10K followers over on the other business.
Wow.
So there's always questions
Instagram,
at the moment I'm getting 10 to 20 authentication on the luxury pickers, and they take time.
I was just gonna say, 9 times out of 10, to be fair, I'll do the authentication. But once again, like we have like multiple phones for different reasons.
People think we're drug dealers because we
I like how you said think. We all know where the Ferrari came from.
This is just for now.
I love it.
We've got 2 others downstairs, but the point is you have to do all these different jobs, and we've worked out now finally that like I do more of the running around, the picking, the packing, whatever else. Bethany is so specific with the photographs, and I'll be honest, if I live to be 100, there's no way I'm going to live up to those standards. So why bother trying?
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
Exactly.
But I will say on the flip side, the photos come out great, and well, we have sales, so what more can I say? The proof's in the pudding, as they say.
Yeah,
100%. I'd for me, it's lighting is something I might even message you guys about. I do agree with that time, like because of my lighting I've got in here, like it almost goes yellowy in the evening, and it really annoys me because I use a grey. I've got like a grey wood. I've actually built. It looks like flooring going up on my wall next to me. I've made a purpose-built area. But I chose to go with grey because for lots of reasons. I just want it to stand out. And also I think it shows, for me, a light grey shows the true colours of items much better than a white, because a white sometimes can hide things.
I've got to say, if you have white and it's just white with kind of regular, what I call like home lights or whatever else, and you don't use proper studio lights with proper bulbs and so on, I honestly think sometimes it can depend on the color. Like blues, for example, is a massive problem.
Go yellow.
They take all the vividness out of them. Whites look beige, blacks look faded. Like it's a real big problem. I think not a lot of people, even maybe it sounds anal even talking about it. But I don't think enough people spend enough time doing that. They're worried more about how their photo looks as opposed to the item.
Well, because we specialize in just we actually specialize in handbags and shoes, but because we specialize in clothing, the majority of the stock going onto eBay at the moment is clothing. What was I saying?
The coloration due to lighting
and coloration.
We get anal about it because we're only selling sort of one thing, if that makes sense. Where if you're selling I don't know, a TV, a plush. You're constantly
yeah.
Or
thinking
like,
of
or like
different shapes.
yeah,
And
a group of figures for something like
Yeah.
on a flat lay. That
Yeah.
it's hard when that first photo is boom. It's just kind of a a top or a skirt or a dress or whatever it might be. I think it's a whole thing, and like you say, for us, that is a massive part of the day. It's actually one of the only times that we actually get to listen or watch YouTube or podcasts like this, and
Yeah.
it is, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
it's the only
and
time
then,
we actually
and then we go sourcing when we start to lose the will to live.
yeah.
Yeah.
We
That
have to push
makes
ourselves
sense.
at that point. That's like our treat, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because sourcing's the easy bit. Everyone loves
Yeah.
sourcing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's I definitely listen to what you're saying there. I think if I ever got to the point whereabouts I redid all my lighting and everything, which I'm going to create I'm going to build a purpose built lighting area, and I want to kind of be able to get it to the point where I can list any day, any time. I'm going to really spend quite a little bit of money on it.
Yeah.
But when I do that, potentially I might end up doing what you're doing, and I might just literally pull everything off and then relist it all. I might get it all stacked up and redo it all. But
it was terrifying.
Do you know what? I was going to say,
I thought I was having a heart attack when it happened, because if you've got, I had 1,400 items on. If you've got that many items on, you're pretty much guaranteed, bar the shouting, a sale a day.
And good sales a day, not just one or two, but good sales.
You
That's
automatically, by taking it down, you're not
taking that away. Yeah.
It's gone. So then building it back up, I think it took about a month for it to be built up where we were getting a sale a day again. And that was around the 500 item mark that it started to we started to see sales coming back in. But for a month we were pretty much like, then we have to you have to compensate and shove it all over to somewhere else for a minute. But that is just as much work as doing the listing to get eBay back on, point again.
I agree.
I'm definitely very grateful with eBay, because I'll just quickly say my stats now. It kind of gives an idea, and I feel really, really lucky that of everything. So I've got 426 listings active. Now I don't sell I'm in a different end. I like everything, all the bread and butter that's left.
I've seen your Vivian West.
You sell clothing. You're the same.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he wore it for a while as well.
But I do love the bread and butter. Like that for me, like I want to scale it, but I just want bread and butter.
But that's why it's called bread and butter. Name a person you know doesn't like bread and butter.
Yeah, exactly, I just love it. I think it's the most exciting thing ever. Honestly, if I have a £20 sale, I feel like I've won the lottery. For me, £20, £15, £10. I'm just like, but my sold through rate at the moment in my middle in 90 days is 477.
Yeah.
So I've got a lovely sell through rate, and it's only going to grow. I think
with that many items as well, that's outstanding.
Yeah. So I really think I'm proud of myself that I had Mel, but I told Richard, and I was squeaky bum about it. I never really wanted someone else to look at my store and give me a review, but I was like, you know what, I need to take it a bit more seriously. And I had Mel back from Burnout, who is incredible at reselling. She's done the shoes, she's done the clothing, now she's doing the books, and she is smashing it. And she had a good look at my store, and she gave me a lot of green lights. And there was just one or two things that I'm tweaking that I'm going to do.
But all you've got to tweak is like the way the words are round.
Yeah,
like,
all it was my title. There was a couple of things.
Like,
My sell-through rate's good, but she's like, if you just do this one or two things on your title, then that'll then help you that extra 5-10%. And I was like,
it's
brilliant.
so interesting.
Yeah, it is. Do you know one thing which drives me insane about eBay more than any of the platforms, I must say, is I feel like if I could come up with a cheat code, right, like you would kind of with old school games, press this, press that. If you do that on eBay, you know what happened? Within a week, they would change the way the analytics go. And it would be knackered anyway. So that's why no one ever kind of comes up with those. You can they can be real good advice, like you say, the way things are worded, where the words are, all that stuff. But anyone who for example, you list more than 10 a day, every single day. I think that's a great one. But I think apart from those basics, like it's just down to good customer service, like you said, great feedback. Because if you send something nice, you'll get good feedback. That in turn hits you further up the listings. I just think most of it is common sense, and then the rest, if you can really kind of fine tune it, like you said you're doing, I think it's just boom, 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 sale.
Yeah, 100%. My favorite thing that eBay's done last month was the app, the way that we can message people. It's like a Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp. I love it. because it was really hard to send an image to someone at one time. Like you used to upload and go, fail, file's too big, I can't be bothered.
Terrible.
And now, so the other day, I made a mistake. I sent a Timberland shirt to someone instead of what they wanted to buy.
It happens.
And I said to him, I said, "Oh, keep that." And then I sent him a photo and said, "No, I found the item inside the box. It's my fault." I said, "It's a human error." And I then sent them a tracking within 10 minutes. I'd gone to the shop, I posted it, showed the postage label, and the person said, "Thank you so much," this, that, and the other. But because of the way I can message them, the way I can give them a photo and show that I've got on with it, I love it. Like, and I just think that allows me to offer better customer service, and I feel like it's more direct now.
Yeah, even more so when you used to have kind of just a message back and forth, almost like an email in your kind of your eBay app, if you want, or even on the desktop. Half the problem is if you're really going back and forth quite quickly, you could almost miss a message, or it would update, like they would have a reply, and you're like, "What's that replying to?" Or what? I asked something else. And I think that once again, like you said, they've made it so much better. You know, within
you can
that,
see it all.
Yeah, exactly that.
I think it's, as you said, and the reality is, and you'll see it more, is now when you reply to a customer, it's about 3 minutes or 4 minutes before you get that reply back from them. Because you used to message a customer going, "God, why are they taking so long? Like they've just asked me," and it's not. It's eBay systems. The customer's actually pretty quick, and it's no difference to when someone sends an offer and you go, "Why aren't they paid for it?" It's not. It's eBay systems are just weird like that. And then 5 minutes after, then the money comes through. But there's always things that can be fine-tuned. And it's like I was saying to Richard, I was going, "Oh God, I wish I could go back, and I wish I could have done this when I was 16. And then I went to myself, hang on a minute, it was dial-up connection back then. It wasn't like what it is now.
On the flip side, you may have been like that Jeff Bezos guy you might have heard of.
Yeah. I think I know who you're talking about.
Jeff Bezos.
Something like that, yeah. Something like that. I reckon he's done all right.
He's done all right. He's done all right.
Yeah, he's done all right. He's done all right, definitely.
So the next, what we're on now? We're on 7.
Yes, we are indeed.
Right. So, as a non-clothing luxury seller, how would you sort of get started looking for those higher end items as a non-clothing luxury seller?
So you never sold luxury
never
items.
Done it before.
You know, you
got a non-luxury seller, you mean? Yeah,
you got Barry from the Bill. Right? He's thinking, you know, I'm sick and tired of working this job, you know, and he's wanting to buy more luxury items, and he wants to get selling it. You know, what would you say to this Barry bloke?
Firstly, fair play to Barry. Secondly, my first answer would probably be to find the items, the usual places. Firstly, to charity shops and car boot sales. What I would say is more important than the actual places, personally. Although there are a few places which I guess you'll probably name, would be research and knowledge. Like, you know.
Yeah, but that's what I was going to say. So Barry, now, hypothetical Barry.
Hypothetical?
Okay, Bazza probably goes down the boozer on a Saturday night with his mates. And I guarantee one of them has got some cheap aftershave on, or like a D-squared T-shirt. Look at what's around you. So for example, we started obviously I say my specialist area is Mulberry. Out of anything else, I'm a bit of a Mulberry weirdo. Like I watch hours about Mulberry. It's just a bit
like mine is Louis Vuitton, for example.
A bit intense. But when we first started, we basically went back to our Mulberry customers and said, "You want us to sell you bags?" But it's the same thing. Look at the brands that are around you, because if your mate's wearing a D-squared, he probably knows where he bought that D-squared. And if he says, I bought it from Selfridges, then
that's not a cheap shirt. You know what I mean?
Start. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
Even in a worst case scenario, if you're whether it is the pub or your mate in work or whatever, now like I'm doing it, like there's no Instagram and Google and stuff like that. If you're just based on people around you, there's always that geezer who's got some nice clothes, or he's got a nice car, or he's got a nice watch or whatever. Those people, like, just notice the logos and the brands they're wearing. Even if you remember, like, for example, you guys were mentioning Vivienne Westwood, the orb. Like, you will never forget that orb.
No.
You could be 125 years old. You see that orb in the retirement home, and you'll see it and you'll say, boom, Vivienne Westwood.
Yeah.
But you never forget it, and it's weird. But people's brains, they work that way. So I would just say,
It's
as long as you can kind of pick those up, what is around you, you don't forget them, and that's the best way to kind of start picking these things up.
I would always do it alongside something else. So, like, say for example, you wanted to start picking up luxury, but you're doing menswear now. Carry on doing menswear, but be more like, not observant, but be more aware of other brands by doing a little bit of research with Bazza down the pub. And and I still do it. I still do it every day. I probably, if we're in a charity shop, I probably look up maybe like 30 different labels. Because I don't know everything.
We also not only we also a lot on Instagram. A lot. It sounds funny and people don't believe us, but we chat about this. Like, this isn't just like, oh, they're talking on cat. Like, we talk about this rubbish. People rubbish all day, every day. If we're in the car, our little one could give you X amount of brands, and she's 7. Not because we're fancy or because we shop here, we shop there, but because she's around us all the time and she knows these things. And to be honest with you,
you've got to immerse yourself with it.
Yeah, you do, and it pays off. Because some people, if you start yapping and kind of just blurting out knowledge, people it's like a teacher in school. If someone starts telling you the whole history of I don't know, of England from X to Z, like, come on, that's hard graphs. No one cares. If you give them one fact, like 1066 Battle of Hastings, boom, never forget it. Do you see what I'm saying? And I think if you can give kind of chunks or pick up chunks, like Vivienne Westwood, for example, or whether it's some of the other brands, a lot of people, we found, I think, more so than ever, are scared to pick up brands because they think they're knockoff, right? But you mentioned actually the other day that it's an education. Like, it is an education. If you lose £2, or if you can't, with all due respect, you can't afford to lose £2, don't gamble on it. But if that £2 in your mind is safe, right? Even if you took it to a boot sale because it was a knockoff or donated or whatever yourself, that's your business. If someone wants to wear it, that's fine, and that's fine. You're fine and dandy. But I think it's worth that chance and that knowledge. And if all else fails, message us and ask. It's not. I think it's just down to research. And honestly, I say that and it's so boring because most people are like, "How do I do it? How do I do it? How do you do it?" But it is one of those things that we still do. Like you just said, we'll be in a charity shop. You'd be like, "Have you heard of so and so?" Yeah. Have you heard of so and so? Oh no, I haven't. I'll Google it. Like, all of a sudden, it's this mad Scandinavian brand which costs £4,000 for a jumper.
But it's like with the luxury and the higher value stuff, you can feel like that shirt. I felt the quality of it. You can feel the quality, that. And when we were talking to Lee on the podcast, he said research. Yeah. And I'd never been into Harrods. My wife took me in for my 40th birthday. We were up in London. She took me to Harrods. Like, we was talking to Lee, go through the handbags. So if you want to get into buying and selling handbags at a second hand, pop the clasp, see what the line is like, look at the stitching, see what badges look like, have a good look around it, have a feel of it, feel the weight of it. Because like a cheap handbag is going to be, you're going to feel that it's not leather, it's plasticky, it's light, whereas a proper handbag is going to be proper. And
that's it. And once again, listen, that is 50% of what you need to know about it. You know what I mean? Like, for a lot of people, like you said, Harrods is a great example. Obviously, salvages, places like that.
Yeah.
But I think if you're not someone, like you said yourself, if you're not someone that is going to these places every day, if you're going to open a burger restaurant selling burgers but never eaten a burger in your entire life, what's the point?
Yeah,
so if you're gonna sell that kind of stuff or want to sell that stuff, which makes good money, learn about it and not just like. The things which kill me off, and you laugh at this because I get really like, because it's my thing and I love it, is these guides online which will tell you kind of, this is how you identify, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it was in 2016.
Austin, that reminds me of a story. I know this amazing couple who just wanted to open a coffee shop.
But I like coffee. And I
know exactly. There you go.
I wouldn't do it again if that helps.
No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't.
No, but I think you're exactly right. And I think if Baz is going to get into it, try and learn what you already know or around the people that you're with. And it's easy to learn the luxury from what you're around. And I think that's something that we're probably never even spoken about. Learn from the people around you. Yeah. Because if you can learn, you're going to be able to listen to them more, and also they're going to be able to put you to that shop or that direction much more locally. And that local power and that local knowledge and that, I bought it from Jack's shop up the road, he can go into Jack's shop up the road and go, oh, hang on a minute, yeah, and then Jack might go, oh yeah, have you checked this brand and this brand and
There
this
you go.
brand?
It's like
And
a
then-
ripple effect.
And it is, it's a ripple effect. You what you'll do is, like, for example, you'll see people, say for example, you Google once again Vivienne Westwood or streetwear or whatever it is, whatever particular, because I know you do obviously menswear predominantly, or you do menswear only, don't you? Yeah.
Well,
Menswear.
I do females because at the moment I'm learning how to get more stock. I want to get more.
Yeah,
But
yeah, of
females
course.
is so much more accessible. And the reason why I don't prefer females is because I know I'm going to struggle in the long term to sell the volume of females, because I'm not that I'm willing to learn. I suppose I'm not willing to learn because there's so many different type of dress types. Like there's A-line, there's shawl, and because of that, if I can't put the correct dress type, there's potential of I'm gonna make myself vulnerable, and I'm opening myself to returns. Where the reason why I feel safe with menswear is a shirt is a shirt, a top is a top, a jumper is a jumper, a suit is a suit. I get there is more dynamics to it down the line. But to sell
there's
it,
more variation in women's, isn't there? There's more variations.
and that's why
got more to it.
Well, that's exactly why I wanted to go into menswear, and why I'm going to focus in menswear is because I you know, the only difference in the trousers might be a pleat. It's a pleated trousers or it's a flat front, and I know that difference because I used to work in Burton's as my first job. So I know the size.
That's once again, you're taking from something you already know about. That's what I'm saying. It's a classic example.
Yeah, 100%. Well, that's what I said to my wife. I said my favorite job I ever had when we met each other. I said my favorite job I ever had was working for Burton's menswear.
There you go.
And I really, really enjoyed it. And I said I never had a job that was more enjoyable. But unfortunately, you know, it wasn't long term because I wasn't a full-time position and X, Y, and Z. But I learned so much, and I learned the ability to measure someone without even
just by eye.
getting a tape measure by eye. Yeah.
And
I could get the clothes out for them ready to change. And then the amount of times I used to have battles with people and I'd be like, I've got your 42 jacket regular. I said, it'll fit you perfect. And they've gone, no, I'm a 38 or I'm a 40. And I go, no, I promise you, this is what you are. I said, because it's not just about how it hangs, it's how it folds in.
Exactly.
And the classic obviously is the trousers. You know, people go, no, but my jeans are 34. And I go, that's fine. But trousers are much more fitted to the 36 for you. And yeah, I just know that, and it excites me a bit more as well, menswear.
But you even talking about it now, it wasn't it? It was like your tone changes because you get excited about talking about it, and that's the difference. That's what I'm trying to get across to people about. If you don't get a buzz by it, I'm not talking around running around like a nutter just because you're selling clothes. But if you don't get that excited or you know, you don't feel anything about it, sell something else, because there's loads of things to sell. You know, there's plenty. The only thing which I gotta say, as a guy, it annoys me about menswear more than anything else is when you go into a charity shop or even you go to a boot sale, how big are the men's areas compared to women's?
Yes, that's the same as in mine. In the one I go in, they got like a little carousel one with 4 bits off of it. They've got 2 hanging racks, and then the woman's just got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 or 8. It's like the women's section is much bigger. And I know for a fact, if I go and look through the women's section, if I had a bit more knowledge and I go through the women's section, I'm going to probably do better looking through the women's bit than I am looking through the men's bit, because there's more there. And like I was saying before, there was more variation to women's stuff, you know, more brand makes and stuff. You know,
it's a double-edged sword at the end of the day. Like you say, honestly, there's so much more to learn and so much more to kind of, it's a whole, well, it's more than 50%, because like you just said, everything that sells with men, the reason, well, my personal opinion is the reason why there's not a large percentage of men's clothing, or usually compared to ladies in charity shops, is because as men, I'm speaking for the whole of mankind.
Everyone, go for it.
We don't give our stuff away. We wear it instead. Name a pair of jeans you've got rid of before you've had your bits and pieces fall out of them.
Oh no, every single bit of clothing I have, I've just noticed my jeans have gone under the crutch, and I wear them till they go. My trainers that I've still got on now, because I've been doing the garden, have got holes in the toes. It's like, that's when I go and get myself new clothes, is once they start falling off of me.
And that's I'm not going to say it's every man in the world, because it'd be wrong too, but majority of men, and that's just dealing with men throughout the
Are you saying
time.
women are more wasteful?
No, not at all. I say you buy more for sure. I have a look at the figures. You know I'm right. Even with the classic example was if you ever try, like when we used to, specifically Mulberry was a bad one for this. If you try and sell a chap or a man a wallet, right, they would instantly say, "Oh God, how much?" I don't know, maybe a card holder, £100 or something, okay?
Yeah.
And they oh no, that's way too much. Maybe what I was going to spend. And they would have like, I mean, something from River Island or, you know, nothing wrong with that. And I'd say, how long have you had that? Oh, I don't know, about a year, maybe 18 months. And it's gone. It's wrecked. It's decided to come off from apart. And I said, right. I said, well, this will last you like 10 years minimum. And they will. If you look after them, they will in comparison. And I said, you think a price per use, if you buy, there's 20 quid from River Island, you buy 4 or 5 of them. Yeah. You've still got another 5 years left on this wallet. And you've got a really nice wallet in between that you have kind of to be proud of, and more so than you would be for something from River Island, right? Instantly, no problem, I'll take one. Because that's the
Pennywise pound foolish.
And just once it's dead, like it's the trainers, even in the boot sale, you'll find men's trainers are brutalized, majority of them. Yeah. Whereas women's you'll find a lot nicer, cleaner. Yeah. More.
Definitely in a better state. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I had that. The wallet thing was an ideal example, because my wife, when I first got with my wife, we went and see a couple of her friends off at the airport. They were going to Cuba or something, and saw them once. And then that Christmas, they sent our presents down. They're up in Scotland, and they sent me, I think it was an 80 or 100 quid Ralph Lauren wallet.
There you go.
Now, I said to my wife, I'd rather have a £5 wallet with 95 quid in it. You know what I mean? But it's right. That wallet has outlasted any of the other wallets I've had, because all the other wallets I've had have cost me sort of 8 or 10 quid.
So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying everyone has to buy £100 wallet. What I'm saying is, as regard, it's your choice what you do.
Getting given it was lovely. Having it as a present was lovely. I wouldn't necessarily go out and buy £100 wallet, because, like I say, I'd buy a £5 one and have the 95 quid in it.
There you go.
To go and buy more stuff.
And that's fair too. What I'm saying is, I think men buy very different to ladies, and it's more kind of a wear factor and just a. You're being very quiet there. Am I in trouble for saying this, or do you think that's right? I
dress like a man, not in terms of. I don't.
Our relationship, ladies and gents.
I do. For example, I don't know how many handbags I have now. Over 100 in my personal collection.
Wow.
I haven't carried a handbag in 6 years.
Really?
I carry handbags.
It's a collection thing, isn't it?
That's right. It's always nice to have a collection.
I don't even have a purse.
Wow. It's the only lady I know in the world who doesn't have an actual purse with kind of bits of. It's just a card holder.
I understand that women are very trend driven, going back to the whole fast fashion thing.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I'm not the same as most ladies, I guess.
And once again, I might get like hate for saying that, but I think men are more kind of creatures of habit, as opposed to like. When was the last time you tried something totally different? I'm talking like you went on ASOS and bought something in lime green, and I love lime green.
Yeah, I agree with you. Never.
Never.
I just think that's it might be unpopular to say so, but I just think that's the case. And like I say, from years and years and years dealing with different people, I happen to think that's how people buy things, you know, and that helps with the reselling thing, you know.
Yeah, 100%. Knowing your audience is probably one of the biggest secret weapons you can ever have, because if you know your audience and you're buying that, you're there.
Yeah,
exactly that.
So what I'm thinking is, because of the time and whereabouts we are on the live. No.
We're just going to. We're fine. We're just going to hold you up.
I feel like I want to do like a part 6 and everything. I'm loving this, by the way.
Definitely.
Like honestly, like I want to keep doing this.
We should all go to the pub with Bazza.
Yeah.
Let's go to the pub with Bazza.
No, what I was about to say, Richard, if you want to pick out of all the questions we've got, if you want to pick a random one, and then I'll finish it off with my final question.
I mean, I was just going to say as well about the thing with the, you know, having the better stuff or buying the cheaper stuff. You know, if I come into a lottery win, I would
take us on holiday.
Yeah, I'll take you all on holiday. But other than that, you know, I would still buy most of my clothes through charity shops.
Same.
You know, I would buy nice stuff. You know, my wife's got, she's got, is it Miu Miu? purses
Yep.
and stuff. She's got like handbags with the dust covers that are 902, whatever they are.
Yep.
You know, I would probably get nicer things to have those nicer things, but I would still wear my secondhand stuff unless we were going somewhere nice. I would like a nice Tom Ford suit, like
Yep.
Daniel Craig's
Nice,
got.
nice.
I
Yeah,
would
yeah.
like a nice Tom Ford suit. You know, we went up when we were up in London that time at Harrods and
We'll
that.
keep our
No,
eye out.
oh yeah. Well, we went into Hugo Boss, and oh my god, I found a Boss suit to die for, but like the price tag. But if I did come into money, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I would still, you know, I would still buy from charity, and I still would on my day to day. I would wear stuff that's been
Of
pre-loved
course.
and pre-used, definitely, 100%. But I've never had a pair of £100 or £200 trainers. It'd
There you
be like
go.
a little novelty thing for me. You know, I would maybe treat myself to a Ferrari. You know,
It's
but
just
I
that's
would.
just called the luxury pickers
Yeah.
taxi.
Don't get me wrong.
I
I
feel like I
would.
gotta
I'm
get
not
one now just to prove a point.
exactly, but I'm not saying that. You know, I would never buy these luxury things. I would love to be able to buy them, but I'd still do the second-hand thing alongside it. You know, but I would. It would be nice to have. Like she's got her luxury handbags. It'd be nice to have like a man bag and a nice wallet, and you know.
To be
You're
honest,
into watches. He's
I was gonna
into
say I love watches.
Oh, I love watches.
Like-
I've been watching Trotters Jewelry,
Yeah,
YouTubers.
Julia, they're a good company.
They're amazing. They
Yeah, they
are
are.
amazing because, like, I was saying to, we were talking before, and I said to James as well. I've spoken to other people, like, rather than put my money into this or put my money into that, if I start really sort of cracking on and doing well, I'm going to start buying watches and put my money
Honestly,
into those because
truthfully, one of
the
the
Rolexes, is it the MPs? Is it the
APs.
APs
Yeah.
and the ones that are like the rubber strap ones that are worth $1.5 million and stuff like that. You know,
Richamille.
yes, all these. That's where I will put my money. 100%. I've already decided.
You know,
That's where my money's going.
you joke. You say Casio. Casio is not only an
Casio's,
amazing watch, but
yeah,
on top of that, there's a very expensive. It's called it's from Audemars, which is AP. That brand. It's called a Royal Oak, and Casio have brought out what is called it is nicknamed the Casio because it has the same shape kind of casing. Google
yeah,
Casio, and that is a serious watch at the moment. People are paying
yeah,
very big money for, and it's
yeah.
a digital watch.
Yeah, but
Nice.
that's where I'm going to be going. I'm going to be like once I start pulling in a few quid, you know, because
You
I
know
want
what?
to get back.
Honestly, apart from probably property, that's
Mm.
one place. That's where money going. Simple as
And
that.
those guys have got the knowledge because I would be going in saying, right, I want a nice watch for me, but I want this watch. I've got this much money, and I want that money to earn that money. So, like, what's the next big thing? What's the next thing that in the next 2 or 3 years is going to go up and blow up?
And once again, to keep this bit short, as I've said it 10 times,
Mm.
is the watch. I mean, it's had a massive. It's like crypto. It's had a massive blow up recently.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, there's no way in the world you can lose money. And when people say that, I feel like I'm like some kind of sales retreat. You know what I mean? And you're just spouting
Yeah.
bullshit. But the truth is, it's safer than property right now. It's safer than
Definitely.
property. The price of everything
Definitely.
has gone up consecutively every month on month.
Mm.
I don't think there's a brand, well, within reason, if you know a little bit about watches, you could buy, which you would lose on. And I think they're solid investments. A lot of our friends are more okay friends financially, should we say?
Yeah.
Like, honestly, he would rather have 10, 15 watches sat in his safe than and enjoying them as well for free, pretty much.
Yeah.
And that
And
rather
making
than having
money.
4 or 5 properties to worry about and getting damp from, or having
Well,
to fix the dishwasher, or
Much
fix
more
the
easier
roof,
to sell as
Yeah.
well and move.
That's
and have
where my
access
money's
to.
going anyway.
There you
My
go.
money's going up to Trotters because it will also make good content for
The
YouTube.
one thing I didn't realize about the Rolexes as well is that whatever their sell price is, even if the trend changes, it's still the sell price. The Rolex. So say it comes out at 50,000 for the watch, but because it's in more demand, Rolex don't sell it for any more. It's 50,000. Other or other companies that are selling a Rolex, they can't sell it for more.
Grey market, basically.
And what was amazing is my friend was talking about when his mum was on a waiting list for a Batman's Rolex or whatever it
Yep.
was, like limited
Yeah.
edition. I
Yeah,
think
GMT black and blue.
she waited
Yeah.
3 years. She got it, and then the jewelers bought it back off her second hand with her license and agreement because
Yeah,
they
for
could
more
do
money
it
with the paperwork.
for more money. And I think it was like something like 200,000. They bought it back off her because they
Yeah.
can sell it for 500,000. But now
Yeah.
she's got £150,000 back plus a £50,000 investment. It was amazing.
Honestly, it's insane, and the market. Like I watch a lot of YouTube on watches because it's kind of a hobby, I guess you'd say, or something I enjoy more so. But don't laugh. But I would half of the thing is, I don't know of anyone, like I just said, not making money. They even the dealers will like look through their book who they've sold to in the last 2 years, and they've sold a piece for like you say, 60,000, 70,000.
Yeah.
And because you can't buy these pieces from Rolex, like if you go in today, unless you're someone,
Yeah, you can't
not
get
just a celebrity, I'm talking about you've got history with them, you've got a big kind of what's the word, relationship with one of the salespeople.
But a lot of the shops can't get it.
They're physically empty. Go to Selfridges, the cases of Rolex are empty because even the cheapest of Rolex now, which would be like, I don't know, like a Day on Air King or Date Just or something like that, which I say cheapest, let's be relative about that. But they can't, you can't buy them quick enough.
No. And the thing is, people like trotters, you go back and they'll pay you good money and you'll get that against your next watch. So you can keep putting the money. If you get, say, if I go and sell a film prop, I go and the next greatest big film and I get 50 or 100 grand's worth of props. And I think, right, I've got 50 grand cash here and I've got a nice watch. I'll take that watch. I'll go and trade it in for another one, stick another bit on top. And it's better than the banks. It's better than property. And like you say, it looks nice on the wrist. That's one thing. That's one thing I would like to have. Like I would buy, still second hand, but something that I would put good money into and actually wear it.
I've got to say that's one thing like because I do spend money on clothes, I guess, but watches are where I spend once again more so for investment, if I'm honest. And the sad thing is, I'm a bit like Bethany.
That's why we don't have a Ferrari.
I wear them unless it's a special event. I don't really wear them every day because do you know what? It's more the fact that I like I say, I don't want to just wear them every day because it also feels, I think, less special. As much as I'd like to, it's a lot, isn't it? If you do it that way, that's all. But yeah, I think they're good investments. That's the end that anyway.
Definitely, definitely. No, because you got me started. Because trotters, I just when I found them, I just binge watched. I think it's just amazing, and it's so like I say, I can't wait to go and visit.
Your reselling's going well. I'm sure you will.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is like as Richard said, Richard sells like the movie props and stuff like that regarding the films. Though. So all it's going to take is that you're in the right place, the right prop, the right movie, and as I said, Richard, you're doing what you do. And as I said, if you can niche down, the more you can learn about it, you will come across them gems. Your gems are. You could come across the next
and it's something I've been doing since 2003, and it's films. And through my brother before he passed, I met a lot of actors through him, and films are my thing. I'm not interested in what's on the telly, hence why I started YouTube and why I started doing the Saturday Night Lives with James and that. But it's I don't know what I've forgotten what I'm saying now.
You just enjoy it. You enjoy it.
Money.
Yeah, it's my passion. So I've got that old timers disease. But that is it. And films are my passion. I don't watch telly. I watch films, and for me, the props, along with props and watches, it's ideal. It's ideal for me. And like I say, when you're passionate about something, you enjoy it.
I think it makes it easier to do it as a job also. Like, as much as we joke, like we'll have like heated arguments about, but this creative director did so and so, why would you do that? It makes no sense to it's not and we have these conversations like weird people. Like if you heard them, they're weird conversations to have. You enjoy them, and that's just what it is. It's I guess it would be like nowadays the equivalent of going on a forum and people just spouting craziness about a specific topic. It's the same thing, but in real life with mental people, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, 100%. Well, what I'm going to do is we actually do have another half of questions. But what I'm going to ask, if it's okay for you guys, is in a couple of months, would you like to come back on? I'd love to do
course.
like part 2 of this because this is
Oh,
just
Yeah,
100%.
awesome.
100%.
I've honestly, like, I've really loved this, and I just don't even want to rush it. I feel
So
like
have
it's
we,
like
though.
reading a good book. I feel like I'm ready for part 2.
Yeah.
And also it'd be just good to see how that Death Pal's going on. How's the listing going on? How's the Ferrari?
Have you chosen the Ferrari yet? What
Have you
colour
chosen the
getting?
Ferrari yet? You know, how is it doing?
Well, let's see how
And
that
it's
goes.
just, and by then, you know, I'm expecting at least 3K, 4,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
you
easy.
know,
Easy.
At least. Listen, we're on this platform now. Why not? Come on, everyone, watch. Just subscribe.
Exactly.
Subscribe.
Exactly.
But
You'll
no,
be,
honestly,
you'll be at
but
1,000 by the time this comes out.
and anyone who, you know, everyone who's listening to this right now, please, you know, the links are in the description.
Well,
Check
yeah,
them
links
out.
will be there.
Instagram is just as good, if not way more knowledgeable. You guys are doing lives on there. You're talking about your pickups. And as you said, you can be communicated. But as you've listened throughout this podcast, these guys are busy. So if you message them and they message you back in 3 days or 4 days, they ain't ignoring you. They've got a lot to do. And I can completely understand. And I had no idea how many. I thought it was bad me juggling my daughter in a business. You guys are next level, both
With your
of you.
cafes,
Well,
your garages,
so I'll
your
correct that. Sorry,
storage.
I do apologize. Bethany, you're absolutely incredible. Austin, you're doing not a bad job. Well done at 6 o'clock, mate. 6 o'clock, well done, mate. You're smashing it.
Right, so do you want me to choose another question? Yeah.
No, I think we'll wrap things up there and wait for part 2. Honestly, I think I don't want to rush it. We're coming up that 2 hour.
He was ready to rock and roll.
I was ready. I was ready to go. I was ready to go again. Then
I want to leave the audience listening to this wanting more, and I'm ready for more.
They always want more.
And I always think
they always want more.
Ross has been in the messages trying to get us on his live. So
Has he? Oh, who?
Typical George.
I know who you're talking about. Don't know who that is. I'll have to Google, see if I can find him on YouTube. But no, it's been amazing. Absolutely loved it. Say time goes so quick as well when you're talking about things that you're passionate about, and like, you know, it's just nice. I feel like I'm sitting in a pub and like, we've all got a pint or a gin or whatever.
And like, over there.
And the conversation's just flowing, you know, and I could just keep going.
I think when you get people involved in the same things, or which enjoy the same things, or, you know, it's so hard because we all do our own thing separately. You know, even like you guys, you're doing your thing, you're doing your thing, and when you actually get people chatting, I think sometimes it's maybe not a little bit harder, I guess, depending on the people you're dealing with. We don't shut up, so that's me personally, I don't shut up, so that's easier. But across the board, I think it's interesting because you can take so much from everyone. And I think the more you kind of just absorb from everyone, it just that goes for it's just cool, isn't it? It makes sense, and it's honestly, I've enjoyed it. Have you enjoyed it?
It's all right, isn't it?
It's all right.
On a Monday.
Yeah, she'd rather be out at the pub with Bazza, but you know.
You can switch this off. This is my life, lads. Come on, behave.
What a life! What a life!
What a life!
What a life! What a life!
You can't go wrong there, can you?
No, I can't.
Right. Well, thank you guys for coming on. Appreciated it so much. You've just said it now. You've said it on here now about you've agreed to a part 2. So you know that's all. We got it. We got it on tape. But thank you so much. We've loved it. And
awesome.
James, have you got anything to say to finish off?
No, I honestly, for me, I've just loved it, and I've got so many questions, but I just don't want to rush it. And I think when something's good, don't rush it. And you know, I'm a firm believer of like always leave the audience wanting more. And why do we have to make it a one-off?
We've done so. Not like a non-big heavyweight. We've done so much in a short amount of time that it's not even like scratching the surface. And people always like, you don't say, you never said on like Instagram you work for Gucci and all this blah blah blah. I don't know how to fit all that information.
But that's the good thing about this, and people like we wanted to get to know you. We want everyone else to get to know you. We want your subs to just start skyrocketing, which they will.
Like your last podcast with Lee, I got to say, like, we learned so much about him, and it's cool because once again, you can only get so much on, you know, with the camera in front of you. And hi guys, I'm like obviously we don't do a lot. We are continuing to do kind of more kind of facey kind of stuff with kind of hauls and this, that, and the other, more than you on Instagram, for example. And sometimes it's a little bit hard to gauge someone because we we're brutal with each other. That's just how we are. But sometimes I think it's hard to understand, unless like you guys, you're part of it, and then it's just kind of like chatting. You know what I mean? And that's how we are.
Definitely. Right, so we're going to end it there. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you've learned something. Obviously, you've learned something, because we've all learned something. Yeah, and just we'll tempt you with that, and get ready for part 2.
Definitely. Until next
Other than
time.
that,
Thanks again, everybody. Take it easy.
see you
Bye.
later.